See, I did it.
What's going on? What's going on, film fam? Welcome to another episode of Let the Film Speak. I am one of your hosts, Chop. Here with my main man, Willie Jack. Willie Jack, how you feeling, big dog?
Hey man, it's Victory Wednesday, man. You know your dog's feeling great, feeling good, feeling great, man. It's 7 o'clock, and I'm talking about my dog, man. So I'm ready to get it rolling.
Hey, and I'm gonna do it with you, man. It's Victory Wednesday for your boy too. You know what I'm saying? So I'm rocking with you, Willie Jack. I'm rocking with you, man. But of course, y'all know what today's show is, man. It's our recap show. It's the week. It's the end of week 12. You know, playoff picture is starting to form up real nice and pretty clear for a few different teams, man. So we're definitely gonna recap each and every game from week 12. And of course, you know, we're gonna jump into a few other things as we do that as well. But before we do that, as always, we got the house rules. That's like, that share, that subscribe, and hit that notification bell, man. That's go ahead and become the newest member of the Film Fam. Be in the know, holler at all your partners, let them know what's going on. You do all of those things, and I guarantee you, we will not let you down. Announcements, Willie Jack. Announcements, man. Ooh-wee, man. I'm getting killed, dog. I ain't gonna lie to you, dog. I'm getting killed, man. In terms of the weekly pick'em, man. The weekly pick'em, another week in the books, man. And last week, Short Blocks, man. Short Blocks came out on top, Willie Jack. She finished in the league at this last week with 13 wins, and then right behind that person tied with second, both with 12. We had Sierra still cruising along, and Swoop 808, man. Both of those right behind Short Block in that top of that second place, and of course Short Block's sitting on top, man. Hey, man, they rolling, man. I don't know what's going on, Willie Jack, but they rolling, dog.
Hey, that's great, man. That's my sister. She went 13 this week. What she got going on?
Hey,
I need to talk to somebody now. Hold on now. Yeah.
You need to figure out what's going on, Willie Jack.
Out now. Yeah.
You probably need to take some pointers, my dog. That's what you probably need to do.
Hey, I ain't gonna lie. Now, you know what I'm saying? The students are starting to pass the teaching now. I don't know if I like it yet. I don't know.
Hey, that means we need to stop dropping so much knowledge, Willie Jack. That's all that means. That's all that means. But yeah, man, that's where we're standing at in terms of that. And then the overall standings right now, Sierra still sitting up top, man, with 121 total wins. Sequoia Queen sitting in second with 115, and also tied with her in third is Pick'em, then Stick'em, man. So those three are sitting at the top of our list, and that's how we roll it in and going into our overall standings of the weekly Pick'em. All right. Okay, now let's go ahead and jump into some news, man. We had a few things on the docket today. Couple things that we for sure wanted to touch on. And oldie but goodie, man. Deshaun Jackson, man. Deshaun Jackson has announced that he will be retiring as a Philadelphia Eagle this past Friday, man. He is going to be retiring, man. What's your take on this one, man? Let's talk about the boy.
Yeah, man. And you know what? Well, congratulations to DJs for sure. It's probably time. You know what I mean? I think he ended up these last 2 seasons. I think he ended up catching on with teams later on in the process. I think what was the Ravens? Was that 2 years ago now, or was that just last year?
So the Rams picked him up in the season. And I think we let him go towards the middle of the season. I think somebody else picked him up right after that.
Yeah, I remember he had a few games with the Rams and Lamar. I think before Lamar but then Lamar ended up getting hurt. I want to say
okay. My bad. I had it wrong. 2021. It was the Rams.
Yeah.
And the Raiders is the Rams and the Raiders, and then this 2022 he caught a couple games with the Ravens. So
okay, there it is. Okay, yeah, I was trying to think the last jerseys I seen him in. I was like, man,
yeah. He's been in so many of them.
Yeah, I mean, yeah, especially towards the end, man. And so just like he's one of those guys where was a fantastic player during his time. Still one of the, and we don't really probably give him as much praise as probably he deserves. But this is a guy that for his era or his generation for sure. I mean, outside of Randy Moss, I don't know if there was a more explosive deep threat than Deshaun Jackson. I mean, like legitimately, man. I think there's an argument there for like a period of 4 or 5 years, 6 years there in Philly, where, like I said, man, if you was going up top, man, it was few guys that scare you in the business on the outside going up top than Deshaun Jackson. So, fantastic career, man. He was definitely an exciting player to watch. And yeah, like I said, man, it's probably time. Go ahead and bow out gracefully, man. I know they said they're gonna make him the honorary captain in this weekend's game against San Francisco, and so that'll be like a great celebration, I guess, of what he did for the organization. So yeah, congratulations to you, homie. Yeah, love to see it.
Absolutely, and I'm pretty sure they're hoping it'll be a little bit of a boost for them too as they go into this week, man. But just real quick, man, he's a 3-time Pro Bowler. He is a Super Bowl champ, man. Finished his career with over 11,000 yards, man. 11,263 total yards, 58 touchdowns, man, on 641 receptions, man. So a phenomenal career for the guy, and yeah, man, like on the bottom, man. One of those guys that all he needs is 3 or 4 catches to kill you in a game. That's all he needs.
No, for sure.
You know what I'm saying? He get those in the game, man. Hey, that boy is dangerous, man. So we know what type of player he was for sure.
And you know what I'm thinking now, man? And and I guess I'll ask you as well. I don't know how you feel as far as maybe is he a Hall of Fame guy? I think I guess maybe answering probably for myself right on the spot. I would probably call him one of those Hall of Very Good guys. But what I'm sitting there thinking of is he may be an Eagles Ring of Honor guy though. Like maybe down the road when it's time to do something like that. I mean, because if we really think about it, man, like all-time great Eagles receivers, I mean, I don't know who we got in there. You know what I'm saying? Harold Carmichael, T.O. for 2 years. You know what I'm saying? Like then McNabb's bunch. You know what I'm saying? James Thrash and those boys. I mean, you know what I'm saying? So like, who do we really got? And you know what, man? Day one gang in the building, Jarrell. Come on, man. Hey, is Deshaun Jackson Ring of Honor material for the Eagles? Because that's what I'm thinking of. Just their history while we were talking about them. I think he's probably gonna get himself in their Ring of Honor, man, and I think it's probably deservedly so, man. When I'm thinking about the history of their receivers, Chris Carter was there before he, found his juice in the league, and so not Chris. I mean, so what do you think?
I think you're definitely right with that, Willie. I think he deserves a spot in the Ring of Honor, especially if you watch and see a lot of the meaningful plays and things that he done for that particular team. I mean, like I said, man, he was lightning in the bottle, and at the drop of a dime, he can change a game. You know what I'm saying? It could be a low scoring game. It can be a slow game. And all it takes is one particular play and he'll spark it. He'll take it to the house, man, no matter where you're on the field. He can score from anywhere on the field. And he was a threat in the special teams game. And I think that's another part that kind of gives him the extra nudge, that extra boost in terms of being able to make it to the Ring of Honor. So yeah, I definitely think he's there, and I also agree with you in terms of I wouldn't quite put him in the Hall of Fame, but he's right there. In terms of the guys that will be under the guys that are Hall of Famers, those guys that were really good but couldn't make it. So with you there too, Willie Jack.
No, I got you, man. Then my fault, man. I was trying to shoot you a private message, but I'm if y'all in the chat, we got a lot of action in the chat, man, and something about these comments. Man, I don't know if how your chat's working. I can reply, but I can't put people on the board for us. But I want to read a couple comments, man. Our dog ZB's in the building, man. What's going on? He said when I mentioned like his style of threat as far as deep threat, like Randy Moss. There you go. And he mentioned not to that same level, but oh no, that's not the one I was looking for. No, I think you had the one I was. Yeah, he said Ted Ginn. Well, okay, since you put that on there, I don't think Ted Ginn was ever on sniff the level of Deshaun Jackson. Man, he was just wildly inconsistent, and he had an issue with the dropsies. I as far as his speed threat and kind of one trick pony style that Ted Ginn more so affect the game. But I think Deshaun was another level or two above him. But no, there's the one I think he had it at first where he said about Torrey Holt as far as his Hall of Fame candidacy.
Oh, okay. He says I don't think Hall of Fame. If Torrey Holt isn't in and Deshaun gets in, that doesn't make a ton of sense to me. And I'm with you on that too, ZB. I'm of course, me being a Rams fan for a while, man. Torrey Holt was our number one receiver and pretty effective. One of the main guys in terms of that their greatest show on turf, man. So I'm with you there too.
No, for sure. Then our dog, man, Big Chef in the building, man. What's going on? He said he also chimed in as well. He said he doesn't think he's a Hall of Famer in his book, and he also agrees that Holt needs to get in for sure. So, yeah.
Okay. Gotcha. Keeping it moving, Willie Jack. We had some other news, man. We had the Raiders, man. Speaking of the Raiders, well, yeah, he did play for the Raiders. So speaking of the Raiders, one of the teams that we talked about that Deshaun played for, they actually released one of their cornerbacks, man, Marcus Peters. They released him. And this one was a little bit questionable for me because to my knowledge, man, he was playing some decent ball. He wasn't out there looking like a scrub or whatever. I think a lot of this one had to do with some of the money he would be owed towards the end of the season. So I think that this was part of the reason why they went ahead and separated from Marcus Peters, the former Pro Bowl and All-Pro caliber cornerback. Willie Jack, what's your take on this one?
Yeah, no, I was the same as you, man. I was surprised to see this. Now, honestly, I didn't think about like contract implications because I don't remember. I don't think because if you remember right when he got released from the Ravens or didn't get re-signed by the Ravens in free agency, he got signed on with the Raiders kind of late in the process. I don't think he signed like a big money contract. But then also, man, like a lot of those times with those contracts, like the money gets vested or guaranteed after a certain point. So I don't know how much outside of his just specific game checks for the rest of this season, but like I said, I don't know if the money was an impetus for this one. In my mind, what I would probably think, because I just as Marcus Peters is one of those guys where he's, man, we've played with guys like this, man. Like he can get a little loose or get a little wild, man, with like probably coaching staff or just kind of figures of authority type of thing. What I'm saying? I can see maybe him and Antonio Pierce bumping heads behind the scene. They did just have a couple tough losses. That tough loss to the Dolphins for sure, in which they held the Dolphins to 20 points. I would imagine maybe something like that. Maybe Antonio Pierce with the new situation, new guidelines. He's setting the tone and tempo. Like, hey man, ain't nobody gonna rock this boat. You know what I mean? If I can't take you all the way in, then you gotta get off my boat. And you know what I'm saying? I can see it maybe being something like that. But that's pure speculation. I haven't seen any reports that said nothing. But because I just don't remember him signing for big money because we talked about it if he got we love to see them bags now. No.
I was just worried about you rocking the coach's boat. I was just like, hold on. I had to make sure, but you was good though. I had to think about what you did.
I tell you, that was it was going down that foul line. It was almost.
I was worried about you for a minute.
It almost went foul though. You're right. Hey, you're right.
I was worried about you. But speaking of, do you think he still has some value, Willie Jack? Do you think he still has some value enough to where maybe one of those teams that's headed to the playoffs can make a late pickup and use him for this playoff run?
No, I definitely do, man. And the thing about Marcus Peters is like he's got a very valuable skill set. He's a ball hawk, legitimately. He is a legitimate ball hawk. And he's dropped probably 2 interceptions this year, which is uncommon for him for sure.
He got one for 6 too.
Yeah. And so he still has a valuable skill set. But now the thing is that he's never been a premier or elite athlete. And so he is a guy that the scheme maybe is going to matter a little more than maybe it will for some other players. And so, but I think he definitely has value, man. And especially like a team like, and you know what, honestly, a team like Buffalo that likes to play a lot of like quarter style coverage, you know what I'm saying? Where it's not overly man heavy in their schemes and rotations, because that's what kind of ended up getting them in trouble at the end of his Kansas City Chiefs days. Because when Spags was coming in and they were transitioning to more of a in your face man team, and it's just not, it just doesn't accentuate what he does best. And so, but no, man, when he's in the system that allows him to do what he does best, keep his eyes on the quarterback, play the ball, kind of gives him the freedom to kind of fall off his own zones and go make plays, I think he's definitely a guy that can still go out there and give you quality buckets. And for sure, and I don't think he's expensive. And so definitely for the money as well. I think his problem is going to be more so how do people feel about his attitude in the building or something like that. You know what I mean? But I think he still has good ball left for sure.
Gotcha. And our dog ZB, aka Zach the Mac, he comes in. He says he's kind of surprised that Marcus Peters hasn't tried to go more at a free safety in his career. His skill set seems to fit that center field type position better than a traditional corner. And I can see that. I can see that. But I honestly see him playing more of a similar role that Charles Woodson played in Green Bay. You know what I'm saying? That type of safety role, not necessarily that center field guy, but that guy they allowed to use his instincts and put him in places where he's going to be around the ball a little bit more, because that's one thing that Marcus Peters has always been good throughout his career is being able to make plays on the ball and cause turnovers. And if they're able to do that, I think he has a little bit of a niche in that particular situation. But I definitely get what you're saying, Zach, for sure.
No, and that's interesting as well. And I think it sounds like he's kind of thinking the same thing kind of like we are as well. Like, yeah, he does so well with the ball in there and tracking the ball, and generally he's got pretty reliable hands. But the only thing I would say is if he's going to be like full-time in the post, I don't know if he's a sure enough tackler. You know what I'm saying? And then also as far as because that free safety, sometimes he's the last man. He's the last man's got to put his hat right in the middle of somebody's chest that's keep a run being 8 yards instead of 80. And you know what I'm saying? So I don't necessarily know if that's in his wheelhouse. But I do like what you're saying though. Like maybe some style of kind of like move or joker role in which he's the guy that gets to like float in the system and just kind of be a playmaker.
Anything but man. We've seen him in man. He was in our system and playing man, and that didn't work out.
Yeah, you know what I'm saying? Exactly right, man. And so it's definitely got to be the right thing. That's why when he went to Baltimore and they let him, they used Marlon Humphrey to kind of lock up on like ones, and then they just kind of rolled covers on his sides with a lot of like those split coverages where one side's playing like a cover 6 where he's essentially in 2 and he's got a safety, and Marlon's, you know what I'm saying, maybe got a guy locked on the other side. But yeah, no, if you let him keep his eyes, if he gets to keep his eyes on the ball on the quarterback, man, he can still make plays for sure.
Absolutely, Willie Jack. Well, let's keep on pushing, man. In other news, going to New York, man. Let's talk about the Jets, man. Apparently, they have opened this practice window for what they thought was going to be their star QB all year long this year, and Aaron Rodgers, man. And the biggest question is, does he play? And I know they've been talking about, depending on their situation and if they have a chance to get into the playoffs, and depending on when he's ready and if they can make this playoff run. And I know you mentioned last week, Willie Jack, that you don't know if they're ready. You don't know if they're quite in a position to make that full push. So go ahead and shut Aaron Rodgers down. But it seems like they're doing the opposite. They're preparing for him to be ready to play before this season is over and try to get him ready to try to make this playoff run. Willie Jack, what's your take on this one?
And yeah, and just like you said, first off, it's amazing the fact that I saw when I saw the post, I think he's 79 days from a torn Achilles at damn near the age of 40, and now he's ready to start practicing. Like he's clear for football activity. So I mean, now what scale and what level, that's of course it's not going to be. He's not 100% full go, but the fact that he's clear to get out there and tinkle around a little bit is extremely impressive, man. You know what I mean? And so I don't want to discount that. But yeah, just like you said, man, if the Jets and with that defense, and honestly, for a stretch there, they kind of had a backdoor chance to kind of stay a little more competitive if they could have found any style of offense or just any way to kind of squeak out a couple of more of those games. There's probably like 3, maybe even as many as 3 or 4 games during the course of this Zach Wilson and company kind of fiasco or whatnot. And so there's been a couple games that maybe if they go the other way and if they're sitting somewhere closer to 5 and 6 you know what I mean, or somewhere where they still is a backdoor shot, then I think it's more realistic. But I think they're at 4? They're at 4-6.
They're 4-7 actually.
Okay, so yeah, there we go. Yeah, so 4-7. So now at 4-7, I mean, I think it's just I think they're doing their due diligence by still opening that window and still just letting him get active work anyway, because he was still brand new to this team, these players in this system just from the door anyway. And so having just those live reps are going to be invaluable. Even if more realistically it's going to be for next year, he still needs those live reps. So I'm not mad at that. But as far as some active we see in the field, it's a 21-day window. They need to win 3 weeks in a row to get to 7-7 and then see the landscape and see, okay, do we have a real shot? But I think, like I said, that's so far-fetched, man. I don't see it.
So, yeah. I don't necessarily see it either, but here I did want to look at their schedule just to see what it looks like, how rough it was going to be. Okay. So the next game they got this weekend, they got the Falcons. Okay, which I think is a winnable game, especially with them bringing out Desmond Ridder in this one. So they got the Falcons. Then after that, they got the Texans. Okay, Texans are a little bit tougher team, but I still think that's a winnable game. Then after that, they got the Dolphins. All right. So I don't know what the timeline is. I know he's back on the practice field and so on and so forth. But here's my thoughts on the whole situation. It feels like a desperate move to save some people in their coaching staff and then in those offices, because it's looking bad. And last year, they were more competitive last year than they are this year. And looking at their schedule and how this is going to play out, they need some wins, and they want to do anything in their anything possible to try to make this thing work. And I'm not sure I'm seeing it. And then on top of that, I know you're doing your due diligence, but is it a disservice to Aaron Rodgers to put him back there, still trying to get back to 100% behind that awful offensive line? That offensive line hasn't changed at all, and there's still going to be struggles. So even if Aaron Rodgers comes back, do you think that you guys honestly have an opportunity to make a real playoff run, make a real playoff push? So for me, I think I would put my cards in for next year, man. But if they're under fire though, if they feel that heat coming from up top, then yeah, you're gonna do anything that you can, and that's why I feel like it's a little bit more of that than, all right, we're gonna try to make this work. They're 4-7 right now, man. Their chances are very, very slim.
And yeah, that's what I'm saying. To say, like, man, they'll have to win these next 3 weeks somehow, some way. And like I said, one of those games is the Dolphins. And so just like you said, those first 2 games do sound winnable. I mean, you said Atlanta, and who's the other one?
Atlanta. Then they have
was it the Colts?
The Texans.
Oh. The
Atlanta
playing damn good.
So that's what I said. The Texans are a little bit of a better. That's going to be a tougher matchup. Atlanta is a winnable game. I don't think Texans is far-fetched, but that's going to be a tougher matchup for sure.
No, for sure. And I don't know if that one's on the road or not, but just like you said, man, I mean, barring some, and I think that's, like I said, really,
they're at home. Those are 2 home games.
Okay.
So they're at home Falcons, at home Texans.
Okay. And so they got to think, okay, maybe if we get those first 2. And then honestly, I don't know really, because it's a 21-day window. So they would, if they're being realistic about activating them now as opposed to last week or whenever, they have to imagine, okay, well, at the end of this, sometime during this 21 period, if it's plausible that it makes sense for us, they have to anticipate that he would be able to go for them to set this window. And so, man, if they go 2-0 and now they 6-7, with the Bills kind of floundering, like does he come back for that Miami game? I mean, I don't know, man, but I mean, football's better if A-Rod's playing for sure. But yeah, man, like I said, I don't know if the juice is gonna be worth the squeeze in this one, though, for sure.
Absolutely. And ZB came in with another comment, man. He came in, he says he just don't understand why he would come back other than to say he did it. Their playoff odds are under 1%. Why risk
ZB? Year? So are you saying there's a chance, ZB? So you're saying there's a chance.
So you're saying there's a chance.
Hey. But no, exactly right, man. I don't know realistically if that's
Gotcha. And then last but not least in the news, of course, man, the biggest news of this past week, we had the former Carolina Panthers head coach, Frank Reich. He was relieved of his duties after the terrible loss against the Tennessee Titans this past Sunday, man. He is without a job. What's your take on this one, man?
Man, and you know what, man? Like, I think I think this was I think this is bad ownership, and it's too early to say that about an owner. He's 2 years in. He's fired his first two coaches. He's both fired them both during midway through the season. You know, and we're talking about David Tepper, the owner for the Panthers. And this is what's crazy about this as well. He was an owner with the Steelers for 10, 15 years. He was a minority owner with us before he got approved to be a full-fledged owner of the Panthers when they were going through the bidding process. So he ain't learned that at the crib. You know what I'm saying? We just fired our first coach mid-season for the first time in 80 years. You know what I'm saying? So so he's definitely been extremely impatient. Now, the Matt Rule firing, I felt a little better about the Matt Rule firing, honestly, than I feel about this Frank Reich one. Because Frank Reich, he's actually got some chops. He's got some NFL chops. He's cut his teeth here a little bit. And then at the same time, when I look at the situation, yeah, you drafted the number one pick. Now, there's also been some stuff coming out like, well, who really wanted Bryce in that building? Was it the owner or was it Frank Reich and Josh McCown or McCown and the offensive staff? Who now there's whisperings, which of course this thing's gonna come out, but now there's whisperings that well they really want to CJ anyway, and Tepper stepped on everybody's toes and said, "Nah, I want Bryce." And so now if that's the case, well then now you've already hamstrung these guys in the beginning from the jump anyway.
The relationship is already it started off on a bad foot before the season even started.
No, exactly right. And so you're already dealing with that, and then even to go up and get Bryce Moore, just what you gave up in the draft, not only last year to get there, but in this year's draft as well, because the team who has your drafted pick this year, they're picking number one. You know what I mean? And so you gave up a lot to go get a 5'9", 185-pound quarterback, right? And then now the coaching staff, I guess, may not been the guy that they saw working in their system because of, you know what I'm saying? So it's just a bad situation all the way around. But even still, with the talent on that team, seeing that there's just not a lot there to work with, there's just those covers are bare. Well, it's like, well, realistically, how well was Bryce going to do this year? Like, now there is room. There could have been some improvement, but like I don't understand how well we really expected the team to be. And then of course, lastly, man, was probably making it worse is, well, the guy who got picked right behind him, he's balling. And if he'd have found a way to win against Jacksonville, his name had been chanted a lot louder in these MVP conversations. You know what I'm saying? But they fell just a lot short. But when it looks like when you're seeing such immediate success from the other guy, you know what I mean? The guy who's not number one, the guy that you didn't take, and then you see a rookie coaching staff and DeMeco Ryans and old boy for San Francisco is the first time offensive coordinator, and you're just seeing how fluid and effective that young rookie offense is, and then seeing how opposite to that your offense is with the number one guy, a guy that won the highest, you know what I mean? And so I think he felt a little, I think he's trying to keep it with the Joneses a little bit, man, and he's hurting his franchise for sure.
Absolutely. And I agree with everything that you said, Willie Jack. And then I think you mentioned it, but like just the fact that they just didn't give him anything to work with.
Yeah, like what you want to do?
you scream, we need a weapon for him. He needs receivers. Well, you just got rid of him. You know what I'm saying? And what is he doing over there in Chicago? He's doing his thing. You know what I mean?
The offensive line's terrible.
Offensive line is terrible. It's nothing to work with for this guy. Just it's no talent. And then on top of that, you don't have any draft capital. You know, the team that's going to have the first round draft pick this year is going to be the Chicago Bears because the Bears got your pick. So I don't know how they got, switched around. Well, of course, we know how it got switched around, but you put all your eggs in that basket to go up and get them. And then, boom, you don't have anything else to work with because the next year, you're still going to be stuck with this. So,
reinforcements are not coming in.
they are not. Reinforcements are not coming. Hey, so I don't know what y'all going to do, man. Y'all better see what y'all can do in that free agency. But in terms of draft picks, hey, y'all in trouble, my brother. Y'all in trouble. So, yeah, I agree with you on a lot of that, too. And it made me remember too when Frank Reich got fired because I'm not gonna sit there and act like he was just a tremendous coach under the best coach.
Yeah.
And a lot of people were saying like, why are people continuing to go and do this and recycle these same coaches? You know what I'm saying? They continue to recycle the same coaches and give more people opportunities, and that's what a lot of people mention. And that was a part that I kind of agree with too. So even though I didn't feel like Frank Reich was a bad coach, I feel like there were other coaches out there that they could have gave opportunities to. I think Byron Leftwich was available at the time. Eric Bieniemy, of course, we've been saying his name for the last 3-4 years. You know what I mean? And a few other guys that are out there, man. So That was one thing that was mentioned too when his time came. But yeah, this just is terrible ownership, man. Terrible decision making. It's terrible.
No, and real quick, piggybacking on that as well, because I liked the hire, like, because this is, of course, and shout out to our dog, man, Michael Becker in the building. He said they should have kept Wilkes, and so this is definitely the hire after Wilkes stepped in after the early fire of Matt Rule, and then Wilkes steps in, and they I think he went 6-6 over his time as the interim head coach, and then and like I said, they were borderline. They had a chance to make the playoffs, like going into the last month of the season. But of course, they don't make it. But they at least got back in kind of that style contention. But he maybe wasn't kept. But I wasn't mad at the Reich hire because I kind of thought, I felt like he kind of got a bad deal or a bad rap with that Colts team that he was coaching, because that Colts team had just completely just fell apart. And Matt Ryan was bad goods, it turned out, you know what I mean? So I think a lot of things went wrong in Indianapolis, and I kind of felt like Irsay just kind of got him out of there as the scapegoat. And of course, we see Jeff Saturday show up and start coaching out of nowhere, but whatever. But at the time for Carolina, I thought it made sense because he's an offensive guy, he's a quarterback guy, he's off that Doug Peterson tree, which is off that Andy Reid tree. So, you know, he's got good pedigree as far as his NFL coaching tree goes. And also, remember, there was the history. Wasn't he like the first quarterback to start a game for Carolina? So it was almost like a going home scenario or something like that. So there was a lot of things that made the hire make sense for me when it was happening. And so I wasn't too mad at it then, but no, man, just seeing this, that. And then here's another thing as well. In addition to Frank Reich, quarterback coach Josh McCown's also been let go. And then Deuce Staley, I can't remember if he was he the OC or was he just the running back coach or something, but the top three guys on the offensive side were let go. So Josh McCown and Deuce Staley as well. Deuce Staley, who he did a fantastic job with the Lions. If you watch the Lions Hard Knocks, he was a big figure on there as well. So he was a big voice in their coaching staff from this last year where they got kind of rolling. And then, of course, like I said, Josh McCown. Josh McCown was a backup quarterback coach. He was getting head coach interviews before he retired because that's how highly the league thought of him. So he had a pseudo all-star quarterback team. As far as Josh McCown, who was one of the hottest names, Josh McCown interviewed for that Texans job that DeMeco Ryans got. How crazy is that? You know what I'm saying? Like, he retired and got a head coach interview job because that's how his quarterback acumen is looked at and how he's looked at in the league. Well, he's fired now because he was the guy that's supposed to be working with Frank to get Bryce together. And so that whole ordeal there in Carolina, man, is it's scary, man. And so it's one of those things. There's only 32 of those jobs, so guys are gonna kill themselves to get that job. But still, man, it's one of those ones where if you got options, you don't want that one first.
Absolutely. All right, Willie Jack. Well, man, they done fell in the building, man. I know y'all coming with the questions, man. So we definitely ain't ignoring the questions. We definitely gonna get to y'all, but we want to get into the show. But before we do that, they in the building, Willie Jack. So let's do a film check-in, man. Who done rolled up in here, man?
Hey, come on with it. Now, the first one through the door today, excuse me, man, our favorite coworker, man, our dog, Zach the Mac, man. ZB was in the building. Appreciate y'all. As I said before, I'm having technical difficulties. I can't put messages on the screen for everybody, but I can see everybody.
I'm going to try to stay with you.
Okay, there we go. I appreciate you. Next to the door for sure was my mom's holding us down, man. She wished us a blessed show as always. We appreciate you, lady. Thank you so much. Day one game, Jarrell was in this thing, man, as always. And Jarrell know the program, man. He know the program. He said, "Hey, what's up, Chop? What's up, Willie? Hey, it's nice in here. Hey, let him get a cold one. Oh, by the way, he's an Eagles fan. My dog. That's why he day one game. That's all you gotta do. That is how we tap in with three amigos, man. So, hey, shout out to day one game, Jarrell, man. Always holding us down. And then the rest of y'all the fella here as well, man. I'll blow through the rest of them, man. Oh, hold on, it's a new man. It's a new name though, man. E Money Bentley. E Money, what's the word, man? What's the word, E Money? And then he said, go Birds. See, I don't know if you mean Eagles. You could be talking to them Purple Birds, man, in Baltimore. You could be talking to the Seahawks in Seattle. You got to let me know now, big dog. I don't know your name. I don't know how you get down just yet. But holler at me in the chat, man. Appreciate you coming in and hollering at us for sure. Man, our dog Big Chef in the building for sure. And then, man, the rest of the fam bam, man, my sister fell through the building as well. And so, yeah, man, we'll go ahead and, let's go ahead and get it rolling, man. They ready to go.
All right. Well, since y'all ready to go, man, and we already been talking about the Panthers, man, why not go ahead and just kick it off there, Willie Jake? Let's talk about the Panthers game. We had the Carolina Panthers go to Tennessee to take on the Titans. The Panthers lose this game 17-10, of course. Like we said, the game coming off of the firing of Frank Reich, man. Willie J, what's your take on this one, man?
Man, and this honestly, I think we both had Tennessee. We both had Tennessee slated to win this game. I think, as far as in our pick'em goes. But honestly, man, the game went about as far as I think how probably both of us expected it to go. We thought it'd be a chance for the Titans to kind of calm things back down around Will Levis, really kind of turn back into leaning on Derrick Henry and letting kind of time of possession and defense kind of tell the story of this game. And then that's kind of what we see more so. Derrick Henry kind of leads the way for sure for the Titans. Now he only has 76 yards on 18 carries, but 2 touchdowns in this game. Will Levis doesn't air it out. He throws for less than 200 yards, doesn't throw a touchdown in this game, but more importantly, he doesn't turn the ball over as well. And then on the other side of that, man, for that Titans defense, they did a pretty good job getting after Bryce Young a little bit with some pressures. The Nico Autry had himself a big day, man. He had 2 sacks and 3 tackles for loss in this game. Doing his hunting against Bryce Young in that Panthers team. And then, yeah, man, on the other side of it, just kind of more of the same, man, about what we was talking about for Frank Reich and that ex-Panthers head coaching job. There's just not a lot of stuff to work there with. You know what I mean? So there's just not a lot of stuff there to work with. Bryce Young goes less than 200 yards, doesn't turn the ball over in this game as well. They couldn't get a run game going with Chuba Hubbard or Sanders. Both those guys get 15 carries or so apiece, and neither of them touched 50 yards. And then this is the first game I think we've seen Miles Sanders get kind of more substantial carries. I wonder if that was an effect of, now that Reich and McCown and Staley are gone now. I would definitely think Staley was a big part of that as a former running back and probably the guy that ran that running back room. Because I think you would ask, like, man, why Miles Sanders is back healthy? Well, why ain't he touching the ball? I think you would ask that a couple weeks ago. So I think this feels like the first game in which he's got a heavy load, and he gets 15 carries and doesn't touch 30 yards. And so there's just a lot of stuff going wrong for the Panthers at this time. And then, for the Titans, man, y'all did what you're supposed to do. You got a soft target coming home. This should have been the game that you were able to pick up a win, and they did that.
Absolutely. And I agree with everything that you said, Willie J. And they did lean on Derrick Henry. But however, this is the first time I can honestly say, I think Derrick Henry is losing a step, man. I think Derrick Henry is losing a step as consistent and proficient as we've seen him be. We see all the workout videos. We see all him putting in all the work and all the things that he's done over the years. I think that wear and tear is finally starting to get to him. Now, he is in his 30s, you know what I'm saying? And the crazy part is, we talked about this too, Willie Jack. Last year when we watched Derrick Henry, a lot of people were saying, man, he had a down year or off year or whatever. The man ran for 1,500 yards and 13 touchdowns. You know what I mean? Now he did have a few extra fumbles, but this year is when I'm finally starting to see him lose a little bit of that step. He doesn't have that same burst and that same long speed that we've seen over the years, to where he breaks off those long runs. It's just more of a He's just more of a downhill bruising back now that doesn't have the shiftiness that allowed him to be the back that we've known and called King Henry. So I think I'm starting to see it, Willie Jack. Even with him being successful in this game, he just didn't have that same burst, that same explosiveness, and when watching him in this particular game. But yeah, they did what they were supposed to do, though. They were the better team. This Carolina Panthers team, they were just lost altogether. We still haven't seen what Bryce Young can actually be. And yeah, well, I mean, we're gonna have to see what happens in the future for this particular team in terms of what they can do. I feel sorry for Bryce Young too. I throw that out there too, because you fire a guy that hasn't even been with him a full season yet. And how are they going to go about helping him develop? That's what I'm curious to see, because you have to give him the right resources. So whoever you bring in next, they're going to have to be somebody that can get in there, get their hands on Bryce Young and steer him in the right direction before he continues to fall down the wrong path. Because believe it or not, I still think he has some potential. I still think he can do some things, but you just have to have the right people around him and put some of the right pieces around him on the field too. So those are some things I'm going to look at. But yeah, other than that, Tennessee Titans, they took care of business, man, and they did their thing.
No, for sure. And I definitely agree as well. The next guy who comes in there, and that's the thing as well, because I mean, you went quarterback centric in this last iteration of the coaching staff, and that didn't work. I mean, because like I said, man, you had Frank Reich and Josh McCown to come in there and groom this guy, which should have been a quarterback whisperer like super team. You know what I mean? And so and that fell on his face. And so I'm very curious to see like what direction they go in with this next hire for sure to see what they could do. Because also a 5'9", 180-pound quarterback is just not going to be everybody's cup of tea. So
Right.
I mean, you know what I mean? And so yeah, just like you said, man, I'm interested to see just who winds up with that job.
Absolutely. Keeping it pushing, Willie Jack. Let's go on to the New Orleans Saints. They go to Atlanta to take on the Falcons, man. The Falcons pulled this one off at home. They win this game 24-15. 24-15. And Willie Jack, I'll start this one off, man. And these are the type of performances, just straight up from the Saints, that make me question them. You know, they make me question the Saints because you see a lot of the inconsistencies. You see them, come out and they put together some plays that make them look explosive, but then you come out and see some duds, man, some games where it's like, man, what's going on with this particular offense? And then you start wondering, like, all right, is the coaching? Is it Derek Carr? Is it both? A combination of that? Like, what's really going on with this team? Now, don't get me wrong, they did have some injuries coming that happened in this particular game. They already were without Michael Thomas. Chris Olave got hurt when his concussion protocol. Rashid Shaheed, he got hurt this game as well. So just right there, their top three guys, end up being missing from this particular game. But there were still opportunities and things that were left out there on the field, and their defense was rough in this game too. They weren't able to do too much. Now, don't get me wrong, they had a couple turnovers, but in terms of watching the game, I put those turnovers more so on Ritter than I do the greatness of their defense and them just making the plays in those situations. And speaking of Ritter, he made a lot of those same mistakes. He looked like the same quarterback that can get out there and just flying by the seat of his pants and just doing the best he can, but just making a lot of mistakes. But all in all, they came out, they did what they need to do, and they came away with the W in this game. All right. And there's two things I want to point at. One, got to point out the play of Jesse Bates, man. Jesse Bates is playing some phenomenal safety ball, playing at an all-pro level, had that pick he took to the crib. So that boy is playing some great ball. And then, what do you know, Willie Jack? It's 2 weeks straight, man. 2 weeks straight, they're giving my boy Bijan the ball, man. And good things happen when you get him the ball. In the last two games, Bijan has had 42 touches to Tyler Allgeier's 19. Bijan had a total of 229 yards in those two games to Tyler Allgeier's 102. 3 touchdowns for Bijan Robinson, 0 for Tyler Allgeier. Now, you tell me who needs to be getting the ball, Willie Jack. I don't know if that's, just simple math or,
and you know what's crazy, man? And this is what's so wild. Like, who would have thought if we give the ball to our top 10 stud running back, you know what I'm saying? Like, if we give him the ball more, then maybe he'll score more points and we'll win more games. Why didn't we think of that sooner? Why didn't we think of that sooner, Arthur Smith?
Hold on, bro. You this too difficult. I need a pencil and paper. That's an equation. That sounds like algebra. That sounds like algebra to me, bro.
Rubik's Cube to kind of figure this out. But who would have thought? Let's give the ball to the best athlete on the field. Let's just see what happens.
Let's just see.
You know what happens? 90 rushing yards on 16 carries for a touchdown, a 26-yard over-the-shoulder end zone reception where I took a smack and held on to it. Things like that tend to happen. Then, we beat the division champ by 2 scores at the crib. Whatever. You know what I'm saying? Whatever. Yeah. I like what you did there. Yeah, I like what you did.
And that's just it, man. That's just it. They are making the right decisions. Arthur Smith, I don't know what's going on. Maybe he's finally starting to smell the coffee, starting to wake up a little bit and figure out what he needs to be doing. Also saw a little bit of Cordell Patterson in that game too, man. So he actually looked pretty solid in that game. But yeah, they did what they're supposed to do. The Saints have a lot of worries, and this is part of the reason, man, why I picked Falcons a few weeks ago to win this division, man. So I still got them. I'm still rolling with them. I'm riding with my bold prediction towards the middle of the season.
No, and then for me, man, like I said, I agree with everything you said as far as the game, man. So I'm not gonna keep it too long. But on the other side, man, I put it in the chat. I can't even put anything on the board. It's time, man. I'm ready to see Jameis, man. I'm ready to free, man. Go ahead, free Jameis, man. Free the real, man. Free famous Jameis, man. Let famous Jameis get some run, man. The offense, they've had what two kind of outlier style of games where there was legitimate offensive production. We put up legitimate points. One of them being an out of nowhere 32-point explosion when they played the Colts, and then I think they found a 30-point game somewhere else along the line, and I think they had a defensive touchdown in that one. But the offense, for whatever reason, hey, man. Hey, that boy made himself a legend.
Hey, let's eat it up. Hey, but look though, I'm gonna let you finish, Willie Jack. They showed a clip of this game, man, at halftime. I don't know if Jameis Winston was trying to pump Derek Carr up, man. The guy was rapping to him on the sideline. The boy was spitting. I don't know what he was spitting, some type of verse. He was rapping to Derek Carr on the sideline. Everybody else trying to focus or whatever. He like just all crazy. Animated like he normally is.
Yeah, no, it was crazy. I didn't see the real clip, but Lou Young, the ex-NFL guy, he does parodies and all those clips. I don't know if you see on Instagram. He did a parody of what it was. I guess Ludacris performed in Atlanta for the halftime show. So I guess he was rapping the Ludacris to Derek Carr. But I haven't even seen the live footage of Jameis to Derek Carr, but I saw the skit of that. So I definitely need to find the Jameis skit as well. I know it's hilarious.
Yeah. And then Mike Baker said, man, he had him weak, and ZB comes back and said, man, he top 5 funniest players in the NFL.
Man, that's a fact, man.
he ain't even trying to. I think he just being him. And man, there's so many Jameis out there, man. That's crazy. But I agree with you, Willie Jack. I would like to see him too. When he was out there, I felt like the offense looked a little bit more explosive, but at the same time, he was put in a position where he had to bring his team back. So he took a few more chances than he would normally take. Now you're gonna get what you're gonna get with Jameis, all right? You're gonna get what you're gonna get, but I would rather take that, or
no. Let's go down swinging. That's what I was getting at. Like, let's go down swinging, because one thing, like the interception and the turnovers, that definitely has been a big part of Jameis's game to his own detriment. But the thing we got to remember is, and everybody loves to talk about that 30 interception season. Let's also talk about he also threw for over 5,000 yards, and he threw 30 touchdowns in that damn season as well. You know what I'm saying? And so, like, there's weapons on that team with Suave Olave, your boy Speedy Shaheen, right? Yeah, there we go. It was a tongue twist, man. It was so much going on, it almost threw me off. But so there's guys that can get up the field. If James can't do nothing else, he can put it 60 yards up the field. You know what I'm saying? Now, I can't tell you who's gonna come down with it. He can get it there. You know what I'm saying? But that's the truth, man. But like I think that it's time. We've seen enough, and not to say that Derek Carr just has lost it. It's now it doesn't appear to be working in New Orleans. You know what I'm saying? And so, like I said, man, I like to see them maybe go ahead and start. Man, Jameis needs to look, man. I think in my book, like I said, I think he needs to look more so than just like the last 2 series of the game or whatever the case. Man, if we're not moving the ball, we're not doing something at halftime, man, maybe we start implementing, making those changes there, which I know no team wants to go into a game planning on playing 2 quarterbacks. And then the old saying is, if you got to play 2, you don't have 1. You know what I mean? But no, I think it's definitely time for at least somebody's got to consider it in New Orleans.
Absolutely. On to the next one, Willie Jack. We had Joe Pittsburgh Steelers, man, go to Cincinnati to take on the Steelers, man. The Steelers win this game 16-10. Willie Jack, talk to me, man. Talk to me about the squad, man.
Did you say 421 yards offense? Is that what you said, cuz? I just my dog, man.
Hold on. I don't know if that's a good thing or a bad thing when you say y'all scored 16 points, bro.
Hey, that's what I was just gonna say. Like, look, like we asking for too much. We've been asking for 400 yards for about 2.5, almost 3 years now. Then we get 400 yards, and then we still, as bad as the scoring's been all year, we don't even meet the scoring average. The 16 is below the average that we've been getting with Canada, but. Baby steps, you know what I'm saying? Okay, let's get the yards first. We'll get the points later. Maybe that's what we do here, man. Shout out to Michael Becker in the building, man. I just forgot it's my Steelers brethren, man. He know what time it is. Hashtag here we go. He know what's going on, man. But no, definitely, man. A win we definitely needed. A win we expected to get. Realistically, when you've got Jake Browning starting in place of Joe Burrow, and so this is a game we had to have it. We couldn't let this one slip or get away. We made it dicier than it definitely had to be. But honestly, man, Kenny Pickett, he goes 24 for 33, 278 yards, no touchdowns, no picks. Now, there was a potential touchdown that wasn't called to Deontay Johnson. He took 3 quick steps in the end zone, and then the DB the DB knocks the ball out as they fall out of bounds. But with the new rules and all these type of things, once he gets the 3rd foot down, it's a touchdown, regardless of, you know what I'm saying. There's no more of the old school style of continue through the ground, you know, with Calvin Johnson, like we said, dude fell down, rolled around, and then got up and left the ball on the ground, and they took away his touchdown. So they've changed that. So it could have been a touchdown there. Najee had himself a big day, man. 15 for 99. I hate stat lines like that. Get a damn man another yard. Somebody, let's round up. I want everybody, if anybody with 99 yards, round up. You can take one on me. I want you to have 100, but you're 15 for 99 yards and a touchdown in this game. Pat Freiermuth made his first game back coming off of IR, and it really opened up the middle of the field, which is one of the things we've been complaining about all year, is that we're not even attempting offense in the middle of the field. Well, we opened up the game with 2 seam shots to Freiermuth for like 50, 60 yards right out the gate, or combined. I think both of them went for like 20, 25 yards. He finishes 9 catches for 120 yards in his first game back. TJ has 2 sacks and a forced fumble in this game. And so everything happened the way we needed to, except we ain't scoring any points. You know, oh shit, excuse me. We didn't score any points.
What's going on over there, Willie Jack? You good? You
Man,
all right?
I guess I sneezed and it went everywhere out of nowhere. It just came upon me. Hey, look, bless me. But like I said, everything I got a lot of what I needed. Not everything, but I got a lot of what I needed to see from us, and especially like I said, post Canada, with this being the first our first look at what life post Canada is going to look like. Now, we did a lot of complaining. We did all these things. We got them out the building. Okay, cool. Now, what we're going to do with it? And honestly, it looked. I mean, I'm not going to say great. I don't want to oversell it, but it was a definitive change, though. It really and truly was, from just the personnel groupings, the usages, and exactly just like we said, man, the way we're attacking the field, going down, attacking defenses in the seams up the middle of the field. You know what I mean? So that was just, even a small gesture like that was such a big change from what we did. Cincinnati didn't know what to do with it. We get 120 yards to a guy who hadn't played all year, because we haven't put it on tape all year. And so we got it done. Then on the other side, if you're the Bengals, I mean, it's got to be about what you expected. I think if you're a Bengals fan, you definitely, you're at home. Kenny Pickett in our offense is terrible. Your defense has been playing solid in spurts. So this is probably a game that they that they probably thought they had a really good chance to get. They don't get this one. Now going forward, man, it's probably an ugly road, I would imagine, for Cincinnati, especially like say going forward with Jake Browning. So I don't know how much hope there is on their horizon, but that's their problem. For my Steelers, man, victory Wednesday, and yeah, man, now I just need to keep that yardage up, but then we got to start scoring points now.
All right, everybody that's on here, man, I need y'all to just erase y'all memory of what I just heard from Willie Jack. Okay, erase everything he done said, because I told y'all the reason why y'all was gonna win this game. I told y'all, because in elementary school, I learned patterns. That's what I learned.
You did.
So regardless of what Willie Jack was talking about, I know patterns. And from the pattern of the Steelers schedule, it said loss, win, win, loss. Win, win, loss. Win, win, loss. Y'all just came off a loss.
Yeah.
So of course, the next one was supposed to be win.
The next 2 in the bag, man, with my dog told me.
That means next week, yeah, win. That should be a win, right?
Hey, look,
I know
from
patterns.
your lips to guys' ears. You heard what my dog said. Hey.
Sometimes we overthink things. We try to analyze. We try to provide stats and analytics. You know what I'm saying? But the answer is right in our face, and it was right there. You know, I've spotted it. I Spy. You remember that game? All the elementary school games, Willie Jack. All you had to do was remember those, and you would have known who was going to win this game. So miss all the analysis. No, just play, man.
Hey, you on something? I tell you right now, you on something, boy. Hey, cook. Don't let me stop you. Cook now. Go ahead and cook.
Hey, man. But no, man, a lot of what you said, man, I agree with. And that was one thing I was going to mention, too, is the usage of Pat Freiermuth, because even before he got injured in the season, he wasn't used in this way in terms of up the field and used to the best of their ability. So I was wondering as well, once we saw this game from him, okay, is this the thing that's going to open up this offense? Is this how it's going to come together? And at the end of the day, we saw everything we need to see. And the Steelers just have to build off of this. Don't go backwards. That doesn't mean you have to go out there and put up 400 yards again. That's not what we're looking for. We're looking for a competent offense, an offense that is going to be efficient, consistent, be able to move the ball, be able to control the clock, and have that type of offense to where it balances out with your defense. And if you can do that, I think you guys have a really good chance of making some noise.
Go ahead and say it. Go ahead, say it, man. Go ahead and say it, man.
No, that's as far as I was going.
I thought you was gonna push Lil P. I thought you was gonna drop that P word on me. Go ahead.
No. Y'all are definitely in position to make the playoffs, especially when you look at the divisions and how they playing out. The Buffalo Bills struggling, the Bengals missing Joe Burrow. Yeah, you guys. Y'all looking like a prime candidate for the playoffs for sure. And looking at y'all schedule, it doesn't look like it's gonna be too tough coming down this stretch. You know what I'm saying? I think that. Hold on, let me see. I'm gonna look at y'all schedule right now. So next game, y'all got the Cardinals, very winnable. Then y'all got the Patriots, very winnable. Y'all got the Colts, very winnable. You got the Bengals again, Joe Burrow-less Bengals. Then you got the Seahawks and Ravens. Those are the last 2 games of the season, probably the 2 toughest games you got.
And see, they both on the road. That's what worries me too, man. They both on the road, and I'm worried we may need one of those to lock us in when it's all said and done.
I tell you this: if you win all the games before those 2 games, you ain't gonna need them. Y'all gonna be just fine.
That's just 10. See, I don't know if 10 is enough to get us in. Is what I'm worried about, man. Because we 6-4. No, we 7-4.
Yeah, y'all 7-4. 1, 2, 3, 4. That'll get y'all at 11. That'll put y'all at 11 wins.
Okay, man. Yeah, no, 11 makes you feel better. In my mind, I was thinking it was 10. I was like, okay, 10 may not be enough. I think we will need that 11 to get it.
But Zach brought up a good point, man, because you know what I'm saying. I know Patriots it's a winnable game, but according to my math,
ZB, you ever heard the saying, ZB? You would mess up a wet dream. Ain't nobody asked you about that part of the pattern. The next part of the pattern is win, and then discuss. Don't jump past win. Yeah,
hold on.
When we get to that.
Hold on. When did the L become discussed? I think you changed that.
I thought that L was silent. It's a silent L. And so, yeah, that's it's a silent L. Yeah.
Okay, you crazy.
Man. One more thing before we get out of this, and because it's Steeler news, but man, I've been seeing it a lot, and that's Deontay Johnson. Have you seen this, bro? It's the play I was talking about where technically it's a touchdown, but they don't rule it a touchdown, so it doesn't get the automatic review. Mike Tomlin doesn't decide to challenge it, and honestly, I was thinking he might, because Mike tends to be kind of aggressive with his challenges, but he didn't. He explained, he's like, well, I'm on the road. They didn't call it to give us the benefit of the doubt, so I mean it's up. So he played about it. He played it close to the vest and didn't challenge it. The very next play, we get a fumble from Jalen Warren. Deontay Johnson is 2 yards from the ball. He's the inside receiver on that side. It was 2 receivers set to the left. He's the inside receiver. He's messed up against DJ Turner, the rookie corner from Michigan for Cincinnati. And so runs coming his side. He's got to engage him, or you gotta run him off. You gotta burst out like you're on a route, so you know what I'm saying. So you take him with you, but you got to do something. He walks off the line. He's pouting about the touchdown, is with the assumption, right? He walks off the line. Jalen Warren fumbles the ball. It's 2 yards to his right. His guy, the defender who's guarding him, picks up the ball and then runs it back for about 30 yards. And then Deontay Johnson he took 2 steps. Everybody's running. Damn, where everybody going? He stood and turned around and watched 4 teammates and 6 Bengals players run up the field to return that fumble. This is a 10-6 ball game. What if he gets in the end zone? What if it, you know what I'm saying? So a terribly disastrous play, and especially he's the guy that's leading our receiver room, bro. Like, he's the guy that my youngster George Pickens he's the guy that sets the tempo. You know what I'm saying? This is the established vet. He got paid. This is the example. And so, man, I don't know if you had seen the clip of the foot. It looks terrible. It looks terrible, bro. And I've sung his praises on here because he's a phenomenal route runner. But man, I got to tell you, I think it's got to be his last year in Pittsburgh, bro. That's one thing we can't have. And people used to talk about us with AB. Yeah, it was a lot of stuff in the locker room. It was a lot of stuff in the media. Man, when AB was between them 4 white lines and 110 yards of field, anybody who played with him or against him would tell you nobody worked harder than AB on the field. You know what I'm saying? Like, so you can be a diva. Michael put up with a diva. We've seen it. Michael figure out a way to work that out, but you got to get some buckets. You can't not be getting buckets. You can't have a 2-year touchdownless streak. He just scored his first touchdown in 2 years earlier this year. You ain't getting no buckets, my boy. So you can't be out there pouting. You can't be, you know what I'm saying? So that was just inexcusable, bro. Inexcusable play. And like, yeah, I would imagine.
And they're like Mike agreed with you, man. He said sadly he doesn't think that he'll make it after this year. Us as an organization move on from good wide receivers without hesitation after stuff like that.
Man, we will find another one. It's one thing Pittsburgh has taught me. Man, we'll find another one. We'll let Emmanuel Sanders go because we got Antonio Brown in the 6th round. You know what I'm saying? Like, let's go Bears, man. You can get up out of there. That open thing. Let's go Bears, leave it, open it up for Hines Ward. You know what I'm saying? It's like, bro, we'll find a receiver now. Mike Wallace, Martavis Bryant, we'll find somebody to get in there and do what we got to do. Now, I can't promise how good they're going to be after us. You know what I'm saying? But, hey, we'll find another one to bring in there for sure. We got George Pickens right now, bro. Yeah, we'll find another one.
Gotcha. All right. Well, keep it pushing, Willie Jack, man. On to Indianapolis. We have the Tampa Bay Buccaneers going to Indianapolis to take on the Colts, man. The Colts end up coming away with this W, man, 27-20, man, 27-20. And with this game, Willie Jack, I don't know. It was difficult for me. Okay, it was difficult, you know, in terms of my looking through the game and just trying to decipher exactly everything that was going on. Now, when I looked at this game initially, my thought process was, all right, this is going to be a Rachaad White game. You know what I'm saying? Rachaad White is going to get the ball. And don't get me wrong, he did come out.
You did say that, yeah.
He had a solid game. I did what I called for, Willie Jack.
I think you said 125, he got 100, but only on 15 carries, though.
Well, yeah, 125, he got 110 because he had the one catch, too. Only 15 carries. But this was a game I felt like was still winnable for the Tampa Bay Buccaneers, man, but they just couldn't pull it off. And it came down to the defense and that pass rush of the Indianapolis Colts that were able to seal the deal with Ebelcom coming off of the end and getting that forced fumble sack on Baker Mayfield, which they got after him 6 times in this game. 6 sacks in this particular game. That's just something that just can't happen, man. It can't happen in this particular game. Yeah. They got after him and hit him 9 times. They were in his face all game long. And to be honest, I thought it was going to be the other way around. I thought that the Tampa Bay Bucks was really going to be the ones that get after the Colts this game. And I called 4 sacks in this game. I was calling a lot of stuff last week.
Hey, you would, but hey, a lot of it hit now too. I ain't gonna lie. You did say you had 4 sacks for the Bucks.
So I called 4 sacks for the Tampa Bay. They only ended up with 2, but I thought they would be the ones that would really get after Gardner Minshew, especially with Gardner Minshew's style of play. Gardner Minshew likes to sit in their pocket, hold the ball, try to make plays, extend. He's not super athletic, so you know a lot of times the linemen that are getting after him are able to catch him or use their athletic ability and agility to stop him, but not in this particular game. He was able to really get that ball over to Michael Pittman, man. Michael Pittman had a really good game. He went for over 100 this game and started to be crucial and do what he needed to do in those crucial situations. And then Jonathan Taylor was back. He was running the ball very, very well. Unfortunately, they lost him in this game with, I believe, a thumb injury. So towards the end of this game, they did start to use Zach Moss a little bit more, and it looks like he's going to be missing the next 2 to 3 weeks, Jonathan Taylor, with this thumb injury. So he's going to be out for a little while. But all in all, man, the Indianapolis Colts were able to come out and make a few extra plays more than Tampa Bay and really stop them from doing what they needed him to do. Or stop them from doing what they wanted to do in this particular game. And, they came away with the W, Willie Jack.
No, and exactly, man. And I agree with your take on this one as well. That Colts defense, excuse me, that Colts defense definitely, like you said, man, just Baker looked uncomfortable just all game. And so, he goes 20 for 30, just under 200 yards, does throw the 2 interceptions to Mike Evans, but does throw the interception there. Then on the other side, I think I took the Bucks in this one as well, but I was thinking maybe Minshew was going to be the guy who maybe makes the more costly turnovers in this one. And he does still put the ball up in the air quite a bit. He has 41 attempts. Normally, if Gardner Minshew's having 41 attempts, that's 2
or 3 interceptions.
That's 2 or 3 turnovers. Well, he only had 1. He only had 1. I mean, it's crazy that to say, but he only had the one interception in this one. But then, just like you said, man, they got back to the running game and got JT Money, got him going again, 2 touchdowns on the ground, 90 yards. Now, unfortunately, just like you said, man, you lose them for a game or so. But like I said, we've seen enough of Zach Moss to start this season to know that they're still in great hands. You know what I'm saying, as far as the running back room goes. And then just like you said, that was all the notes I had as well, man. Good day for Michael Pittman, 10 catches for 107 yards in this game as well. So I agree with everything you said.
Gotcha. And we're gonna stay in there with Long Willie Jack. So let's keep on pushing. Let's go to New York, man, where we had this week's toilet bowl. I can officially say this week was the toilet bowl. This game was awful. I don't think anybody in their right NFL mind was truly excited about watching this game from start to finish, man. It was just a terrible game all the way. But ultimately, the New York Giants, man, they pulled it off. The New York Giants and Tommy DeVito, they pulled this game off. I think you went opposite ways this game. I think you went for the New York Giants. I was going to Patriots, just thinking that that Bill Belichick will be able to find a way to get the win over Tommy DeVito, but he takes a L, man, a rare L against a rookie QB for Bill Belichick, and it was part of the reason was the terrible play from their own QBs, man. Both of the quarterbacks end up playing in this game. Total of 35 pass attempts between Mac Jones and Bailey Zappi, and they no touchdowns to show for it, just 3 interceptions and only 136 yards. I mean, man, awful, terrible. QB performance. They've been getting terrible QB play all season long, and it didn't get any better. You know what I'm saying? And even when they do have a solid run game, averaging just about 5 yards to carry this game with Ramondre Stevenson and Ezekiel Elliott, well, it doesn't mean anything when your QBs are turning the ball over and getting it right back to the New York Giants. You know what I'm saying? And their defense didn't play bad. Of course, they held the Giants to 10 points.
They scored 10 points, yeah.
But because their offense is so terrible, and here's the crazy part, Willie Jack. They're playing with their starter, all season. A lot of these teams that have these terrible offenses, you can name the Jets. You know what I'm saying? They're playing with their backup QB. You know, we can talk about the
the only other one I think was my Steelers for the most of the season, like outgaining but the defense found a way to kind of carry the day. I think only other than us, man, we the only team playing with just bad
with starters.
Yeah,
with
the starter being so bad.
The Giants have a backup. The Browns are playing with a backup. The Raiders are playing with a backup. Like a lot of these teams are playing with backups, man. And cool, we understand that their situation won't be the same. But you guys got y'all starter from day one. The guy that's been there taking day one first team snaps from training camp, and you guys can't put up more than 7 points on the New York Giants, man. So that's just terrible performance by their team. And yeah, they come away with the L. And I heard Isaiah said in the Facebook group, and I don't know if Big Bill lasts much longer in this season, big dog.
Yeah, no, man, Bill's not getting fired mid-season. There's no way, because Robert Kraft isn't gonna go down in history as firing Bill mid-season. Like that would make it way more infamous of an ordeal to fire Bill the same way that you fire Frank Reich. You know what I mean? So I think
that'd be terrible.
You know what I'm saying? Like I think worst case we get an announcement that they've both decided to part ways mutually. You know what I'm saying? Like that worst case, I think it gets to that point. But man, but no, I'm not gonna stay too long in this one, man. It was in a game of fat versus ugly, nobody wins, and so. But the Giants defense, 3 interceptions in this one, man, that definitely just stopped any and all the progress that we saw for this Patriots offense. They had a good running day, 30 carries and almost 150 yards between Ramondre Stevenson and Ezekiel Elliott. With a defense, you get that type of production from your run game. You get a defense that holds the other team to 10 points, and you still don't win. You know what I mean? So like, I mean, there's Bill did what he needed to do for the team to win, but he just doesn't have nobody pulling the trigger that can get it done. You know what I'm saying? Like they didn't need much. New England, they needed 11 points. You know what I'm saying? Like, and Bradley Zappi and Mac Jones, between the two of them, aren't worth 4 points to beat a Giants team when you run for almost 150 yards and you hold it to 10 points with a backup rookie QB. And so, that's terrible, man. We can't, man. They can't let Bill go out like that, man. It's gonna hurt my football soul, man.
My dog Zach said, man, hey man, we need to strap it up, man. And we're gonna take a trip to New York. We can get us a shot, man. We might maybe get us a couple game picks or something, man. At least a practice pick.
Man, look, see, this is why I need to be your agent instead of him. New York, boy, I'm taking you to New England. I know you can, go ahead and dust it off. You know what I'm saying? Like, hey, I think you got a better chance beating out Mac Jones and Bradley Zappi than Tony DeVito. He's coming off.
That might be a fact, man. Might be a fact.
Yeah, man.
All right, man. Well, hey, look, man, we're about halfway through the show. Y'all appreciate y'all for being with us right now. Stay tuned. Quick little break, man. Hear word from the sponsors, and we'll be right back.
Yes, sir.
Today's episode of Let the Film Speak, hosted by the wonderfully handsome and intelligent brothers of Let the Film Speak. That's Chop and your main man, Willie Jack. You feel me? Also brought to you by the three amigos. Y'all know them and you love them, man. That's the three amigos that's like, that's share, that's subscribe, that's three the hard way, that's the three-piece spicy. You cannot go wrong. Now, I say the same thing every week, so y'all can say it at home with me. I know y'all ready for it. Here we go. It's three amigos, but it's 4 parts to this process, big dog. First, you just got to tap in. Like my dog said, man, come in, tap in, just say what's up, man. Just holler. Hey, what's up, three amigos, man? Like, share, subscribe. Hey, Chop, man, Willie, man, what's going on, man? It's cool. I sit on the couch for sure. Y'all got some cold to drink? Oh man, my man. Yeah. Oh yeah. By the way, man, I'm a Broncos fan. That's all you got to do. That's it. That's easy. And Chop, come in, sit down, get comfortable, get a cool adult beverage, and let us know who you ride with, big dog. Then tell a friend. Like, man, it's nice feeling here, ain't it? Man, it's cool, man. My homeboy was out. He was down. Man, it's cool. I can tell a friend. Tell a friend, man. And you know what? Even better than that, you can tell your friend to tell a friend. Guess what? There's more. You can tell your friend to bring his partner to. Bring one more because we need 4, man. Bring them up into the penthouse. Tapping with your dogs, man. Wednesdays at 7 o'clock. You know we don't wear no watches. We ain't got nowhere else to be but in here kicking football flavor with the fam. And now back to the regularly scheduled program. All right.
Hey, Willie Jack, I just about got your stuff down by heart, man. I almost got it, dog.
It's only been 1,000 episodes. You know what I'm saying?
You about right. You about right, dog. All right, man. Let's go on to the other side of the show, man. Let's start picking this up a little bit, Willie Jack. Now we going to what was my game of the week this past week. I had the Jacksonville Jaguars going to see the Houston Texans, and the Jaguars end up winning this one, man. I called it. They won this one 24-21 on the road. This is also where I had my performer of the week, and Trevor Lawrence didn't quite put up the numbers I was expecting, but hey, he put up a few numbers and didn't quite get the touchdowns, but he got the job done, man. But this is definitely a big win for the Jaguars. Big win for them because it established them as the number 1 team as of right now in this particular division. We know that these were the top 2 teams in this race. The Jaguars were the heavy favorite coming into the season, and the Houston Texans have kind of fought their way and showed that, hey, we're here. We are a competitive team, and we're not going anywhere. And this was the game, and that's why this was my game of the week. But the Jaguars ended up pulling this one out, and it ended up being a pretty decent game. Came down to inches. When they say football is a game of inches, man, it really is, man. That field goal that they tried to hit from deep, I don't know if it was from 59 or something like that, hit the front crossbar and back, man. So if he'd just put a little bit more oomph on it, man, we might have seen an overtime game, and who knows how that overtime game would have played out. But ultimately, the Jacksonville Jaguars, they came out and they did the things they were supposed to do. And now that's 2 weeks in a row. Trevor Lawrence and Calvin really have gotten it going. Have been able to kind of get that connection going, and Calvin really has started to show like, hey man, I'm still a solid receiver. I still can make some plays and still can make some things happen. And they got that connection going. Trevor Lawrence, I think, played a really, really good game. Didn't get in the end zone as much, but over 350 passing yards and got in the end zone on the ground. You know what I'm saying? A time too. So with a QB sneak, but utilizing all their different weapons, man, and doing the things they would do, were able to help them get to this W. And in terms of the Houston Texans, they played a solid game in this one. Just wasn't quite enough to get them over the hump. A little bit of a slower start for them. They started to get hot. The game started to go on, and it was looking like they were getting ready to make this a game, and C.J. Stroud was about to put his name back up there again, and in terms of another good comeback or a last-minute finish, but they couldn't quite pull it off. They put him in field goal range, but they just missed it. So the Jaguars come away with this one and take full control as of right now. They up 2 games in their division right now. So the Jacksonville Jaguars, they come away with the W.
No, and just like you said, man, this was a great pick for game of the week for sure, and it did give us those fireworks that we expected to see and that we wanted to see, man. A very tight, competitive game, a game to take a foothold in the division, and so a game that had a lot of implications on it, and like you said, an interdivision rivalry game as well. And then just like you said, man, the shout out to the Jaguars, Trevor Lawrence in the game. They go on the road to a team in the division, of course, that you already lost to earlier this year, and they come out and they definitely kind of get rolling. The Texans play themselves into this game, just like you said. And then here's the thing for me, though, man, and this is a credit to C.J. Stroud, because when they got the ball, it was like, I think I put in the group, he got the ball back. It was like 2 minutes before. It was on the plus side of the 2-minute warning. And he had, I think, one timeout. I think they ended up having to burn a timeout for having like 12 men on the field or something like that on like that last defensive stand before they got the ball back, if I'm not mistaken. But he had the 2-minute warning and they had that one timeout. And young guy, he's 11 weeks into his year. Bro, I thought it was a dub. I thought it was dub. I was like, oh, okay, here we go. And then like they do start kind of moving the ball down the field. He gets a big, I want to say like third down conversion to Tank Dell. But also, man, this one as well, CJ took 2 bad late sacks in that final drive, man. And that's what kept him out. It ends up being what kept him out of overtime potentially, because that 59-yarder hit the front crossbar. Well, he had just took a 9-yard sack the play before. You know what I'm saying? And he took 2.
He almost took another one.
He almost took, the one he scrambles all the way around to the left. And I was like, I'm just thinking like, bro, throw the damn ball away. You're going to play around. And you know what I'm saying? And so, but he gets that one off. He goes down on the other that loses 9. And then on one of the 2 sacks, I gave him a little more reprieve because, I mean, it was just an overload blitz. They didn't account for it. And they got, I mean, there wasn't really much to go. The second one, I think that's the one that, because they only rushed 3, or maybe they rushed 4, but it wasn't a blitz. So they only rushed 3 or 4. And honestly, you shouldn't get immediate pressure right there anyway, but he doesn't feel it. And by the time he kind of realizes like, oh, I need to move around, I mean, he's almost standing on his guard's back. I mean, the guard almost backs all the way into him, and then now he's in the grass with the defender. And so he just kind of, his body clock he didn't feel the pressure. And so they take that one. But that's the one that kind of broke the camel's back. And it was one of those where not at all their best game, but with the skill and talent and ability of such a young team, it's still impressive to see that they almost turned it on and still got that dub against an established. The other team is the more established coach, the more established quarterback. They've got playoff victory experience. You know what I mean? So that's a legitimate opponent. And to say that they were almost able to just kind of almost flip a switch and still get that done, playing as poorly as maybe they played throughout the course of that game, that still speaks volumes for them. So I wanted to still shout them out. Shout out to Texas and CJ Stroud.
Yeah. And before you move to the other side, Willie Jack, I do want to say I agree with you on that. And to me, when I watched that, I kind of agree with what ZB was saying. ZB was saying like he doesn't think he takes those sacks, next year. Just a rookie trying to do too much. And I think a lot of that stemmed from the confidence of being able to bring his team back in these games, because it's like, all right, I can do it now. I'm confident. So you go out there. Sometimes you can be. There is a such thing as overconfident or over like
cocky and not arrogant. You got to ride.
Yeah. It's like right. Yeah, exactly, Willie Jack. Appreciate that. But it's a thin line from being over that versus being in a position where being calm, collective, being poised. That's a part of that. That's a part of growing as an NFL quarterback. So good point for you, Zach, to make. I appreciate that. And that's part of what I was thinking too. So I just want to throw that out there.
No, for sure. No, if this is the ground floor, man, the only way we're going is up. You know what I'm saying? So if you're a Texas fan and a CJ Stroud fan, man, this is the bottom floor, bro. You know what I'm saying? Like, we got a ways to go. And so, no, definitely, man. Can't wait to still can't wait to see how they finish the season. I still they're one of the teams that, like I said, these wild card spots, because if Jacksonville finishes out that division, so the Texans will be one of those teams that my Steelers are duking out with, man, for one of those three other playoff spots. But no, man, they're definitely an impressive team, man, to be so young and playing the way they are.
Gotcha. All right, Willie Jack. Let's keep on pushing, man. We got the Cleveland Browns. They went to Denver to take on the Broncos, and the Broncos are rolling, man. The Broncos end up coming away with the W in this game. They win this one at home, 29-12. Willie Jack, what happened?
Honestly, man, I think we also split this game. I took Denver. I think you took Cleveland.
Yeah.
And one of the things I said was the way in which Sean Payton has completely I think this is one of the more impressive performances of Sean Payton's coaching career. I really mean that, because he's completely thrown out the window like everything I knew about him and his coaching from seeing him with the Saints. He's like, well, you know what? I don't have the ingredients to make, you know what I'm saying? I can't make banana pudding, but I can make apple pie. And so now he's making apple pie. He's been making banana pudding for 20 years. You know what I'm saying? Like, he's really, and we hear this type of talk or this old saying, and oh yeah, I know you know what I'm talking about. You know, they say good coaches can coach their system. Great coaches can coach the players. You see what I'm saying? So like, don't force square pegs into round holes. His scheme, what we know he wants to do, where he made his name and had his most success, he wants to open that thing up. He wants to have a pivot man back there, a la Drew Brees, who's just pinpoint, just moving and grooving all the way up and down the field, just racing up and down the field. Well, he doesn't have that right now. So instead of keep trying to force this team into that, it's like, okay, well, what do we do on this team? Okay, we got two we got two big backs. Okay, let's run the ball. You know what I'm saying? We got a defense that when they're not getting 70 points put on them, they play pretty damn good. So let's slow the game down a little bit. Russ ain't been, you know, I got Russell Wilson and I don't have Drew Brees. Okay, well, what really made Russ great? Those championship years with Russ, what was he great at? Well, just managing that game and being special once or twice. We got to ask Russ to be special once, and he's shown that if we get it close and we need him to make that one play that could take us over the top, he's able to do that. And that's the formula they're using, and they're winning. This is what, 5 in a row? And so Russ goes 13 for 22, 134 yards, 1 touchdown. He does get a rushing touchdown in this one as well, but the story that carried the day was that running game. Javonte Davis has 18 carries for only 65 yards, but then you get 7 for 55 from Samaje Perine. And so now right there, you're 25 carries. Your running back room gave you 25 carries for 110 yards. It's over 5 yards a clip, or 4.5 yards a clip. And so you're moving and controlling the game that way. No, I've got it. I actually wrote it down good. On the day, Denver had 39 total carries because they had a couple other rushes between Russ. I think one of the receivers ran a reverse or something. So as a team, they had 39 carries, 169 yards, and then Russ's rushing touchdown, compared to 22 pass attempts and 134 yards. So a team that has a $250 million quarterback had 39 carries versus 22 passes. You just don't see that. That's brilliant coaching. Like, don't be dictated by the money. Don't be dictated by the contract. I mean, I'm talking too long about the Browns and Brock. I just caught up in it. But I wanted to shout out just the coaching job that I think Sean Payton's doing, like really like acclimating and changing, and we're watching him, like, man, we're watching him build with what's here. It feels like Belichick is still trying to use the same formula that was able to work and find success because we had a dependable guy in Tom Brady. Well, the rest of that shit ain't working without the guy in the middle. Well, Shine came in, took his lumps, and now he's like, okay, you know what? Throw it out. Throw out the cookbook. What's in this kitchen? Okay, now I'm cooking. And like I said, 5 in a row, man. And so this is another team, these Broncos. That's another team where I was like, man, I don't know if 10 wins gets my Steelers in there, because between the Texans and these surging Broncos that have a win against the Bills and the Chiefs, and you know what I'm saying, they've got impressive wins. So they're definitely, man, they're definitely going to be, they're the team that they're turning into the type of team that, like, going down this final stretch, you don't want to play this team because they're just going to slow it down, make it extremely ugly, make it extremely physical. 40 rushing attempt, 40 carries in this game. You know what I'm saying? They grinded out 170 yards on 40 carries. You know what I'm saying? That's not a team you want to see, especially when it gets cold and we get in the playoff in December and January football.
Yeah, you got to go to that Mile High Stadium, man. It's just tough. It's tough breathing up there, man. Just letting everybody know. Anybody got to go play up there. But I'm glad you did that, Willie Jack, because I was going to do the exact same thing and talk about just the impressive performance of Sean Payton, because he was getting a lot of bad flack earlier in the season, even before the season when
he came in talking spicy.
Yeah, he came in there, but one thing that we all said too was, well, he ain't lying. He might have did it the wrong way, but he ain't lying, and he's continuing to prove that. You know, and right as of right now, today, the Broncos have already won more games than they won last year already, and we not even finished with the season yet, showing everybody that he was right about Nathaniel Hackett. You know what I'm saying? Mm-hmm. And it takes time to undo bad. You know what I'm saying? Like,
oh, good saying.
If I had a bag of bad, right? A bag of bad.
I like it already.
And I'm just grabbing them, I'm taking bad out week by week, week by week. Pretty soon, that bag of bad is going to be pretty small. You know what I'm saying? And now you just working with what you've created and what you've kind of
now there's room to put in some good.
There you
Exactly.
go. Now instead of all this bad, come on, let me put that in here. Let me put that in here. And then now you got in the locker room, you got the influence is not the bad influences don't outweigh the good influence. You know what I mean? And I don't know if any of y'all have been in an office setting, you know, to where there's more bad than good. When you're in a setting where there's more bad than good, all the bad rumors and stuff like that, they get spreaded. They get and the office gets infected. You know what I'm saying? Mm-hmm. But if you got a bunch of good though, the office gets infected with that good. So that's kind of how this situation is working. Yeah. Meanwhile, you got Nathaniel Hackett over there as an offensive coordinator of the New York Jets. You know,
man,
they looking terrible.
He pushed the A-Rod to come back. You know, he been like, A-Rod, man, you know, they gonna get me out of here, man.
Hey, bro. But
they gonna get me out of here now.
I don't want to go too far in that conversation, man, but nothing. I ain't gonna go because that's another one.
That's a good, yeah. Okay, we'll
that's Aaron Rodgers' team over there, man. I'm starting to see it. That's Aaron Rodgers' team over there, and he ain't even played a full game yet. That's his team.
The boy, he got 4 snaps this season, bro. Yeah.
Boy got 4 snaps, but that's his squad. He make the calls. He do what he want to do, and I think that's part of the reason why he wanted Nathaniel Hackett over there as the offensive coordinator.
Oh no, he brought him in, yeah.
But anyway, man, great win for the Broncos, man. Phenomenal job by Sean Payton. He's really turning this team around. He's really turning the guys around. Guys are starting to believe. This defense is starting to play a little bit better. In the last 5 games, they won 5 games in a row. They are averaging 6. The other opposing teams are averaging 16 points. They're only giving up 16 points a game. Mm-hmm. Hey, I'll take that any day of the week. You know,
Russ can get 17.
Yeah, Russ can get you 17. He can get you 20. Yeah. You know, he can get you whatever you need in order to win that game. But if your defense can hold a team to 16, oh yeah, we rolling. We good. You know, we're going moving in the right direction. And then on the other side, just to mention the Browns real quick, man, just you know, it's a terrible situation for them. They lost DTR in this particular game, who is a backup. Another team with a backup had to run with PJ Walker at some point. They did bring over Joe Flacco, man.
Oh, so man, cool. Joe is back. And they say he's taking starter reps because with a DTR and concussion protocol,
Yeah. And honestly, I don't think it's bad. I don't think it's bad because it's not because of Joe Flacco's play, but Joe Flacco is a veteran. He knows how to help run an offense. I think that's one of the things that this team is missing. I think these 2 young quarterbacks that they have don't necessarily know how to run the offense. It's kind of sort of the way I view Peyton Manning in his very last year. He lost his arm talent. He lost all the physical tools that he had.
Everything but up here.
To help make him, but he still had here. He knew when to check to a run. He knew which side to check that run to. He knew when to check to something else. Like he knew all those different things. Not saying Joe Flacco is going to be the exact same because we know Peyton Manning was the king of checking, but being the veteran that he is, he's seen a lot in the NFL. He is a former Super Bowl quarterback. So I think they could help them out in terms of being just a cleaner offense, not necessarily a better, but a cleaner offense, and allow them to do just a little bit more. So I'm not mad at that move.
No, I like the addition of Joe Flacco as well for this team, especially like I said, the pickers are slim. Now here's the thought I have though. This one, and not every team, and I've been on record already saying as well, like boy, you as good as we last seen you, and it was ugly the last 2 times we seen you. But this one seems like a team that goes and signs Joe Flacco that's constructed this way, that's constructed behind a run game anyway. Man, Cam Newton didn't get a call on this one, man. I think this type of team, the way they're constructed, I think I would have liked to seen. I just wonder what Cam would look in this one with. So you got Cam in the backfield with Kareem Hunt, with Jerome Ford, and so you got a 6'5", 250-pound running threat as well, and then like I said, as far as his passing credentials go or whatever the case, it's still gonna. I would still think his arm is going to be an improvement on what we've seen for DTR and PJ Walker. And so, man, I would have loved to have seen, let's say, like Cam get a look in Cleveland. I think like that's one of the spots that I think would have made sense for a guy like Cam Newton. But I'm not mad about them getting Joe Flacco as well. I think if you can keep Joe Flacco protected, I think he can still deliver the ball up the field.
For sure. With you there, Willie Jack. Keeping it pushing, man. Let's go to Arizona, man, with my Los Angeles Rams, baby.
Yeah.
They went to Arizona to take on the Cardinals, man, and they put up 37 on them, man. 37-14. And let me first off start by saying I apologize. You know what I'm saying? I apologize to the Los Angeles Rams. You know what I'm saying? I sold y'all short, man. I sold y'all short. You know, I only gave y'all 31 points in this game. You know what I'm saying? That was it. I thought that you guys would stop there, but, you know, apparently, you know, you had 6 more in you. You know what I mean? And I also want to apologize because I said there was no way you guys were going to stop Kyler Murray, you know? But what did you do? You go out here and you hold the Cardinals to 14 points. You know what I'm saying? Yeah. So I want to apologize for doubting you guys, you know, for doubting, you know, the coaching staff or
beyond
defense. I want to doubt all you guys. I want to apologize to all of you guys, man. So, you know, From a Rams fan, hey, forgive me. I'm still a Rams fan. I picked y'all to win. You know what I mean? I just thought it was going to go a little bit of a different way. So I apologize.
There you go.
But they came out and they did their thing. And a big shout out to Kyron Williams, man. I said that he was coming back this week. I didn't think he was coming back in this fashion, man. But over 100 yards on the ground. I think 60 in the air and a couple. Man, the guy was everywhere. Had a couple touchdowns.
200 combined yards.
Man, the boy was balling. The boy was balling. And it's looking like, hey, Cam Akers, I don't know what was going on with you. Sean McVay has been waiting to have some type of running back that he can utilize. So I don't know why you couldn't get with the script. You know what I'm saying? Because I feel like this could have been him, and I feel like Kyron Williams. I feel like he's a good running back, but I don't know if I would honestly say by himself he is a true difference maker, or if he is part of an offense that really can open up a lot of different things for him. I thought it was going to be a Pook and Coop day, but nah, it was a Kyron Williams day, man. Kyron Williams came out and he told the Arizona Cardinals butt up. And then our defense, man, played very, very solid. They did a really good job of flustering Kyler Murray, not making things easy. And then also, I also mentioned James Conner usually having a good day against us. Mm-hmm. James Conner do nothing. They shut James Conner down, which I think also played a huge role in crippling that offense. So, man, shout out to my Rams, man. They did their thing in this game. I'm proud of y'all boys, and we can keep rolling, baby. We in playoff contention. Yeah, we in playoff contention.
And man, it's y'all are, man, which is crazy to think about. But man, our dog ZB had a good comment, man. I don't know if you can see, you can put it on the board, but he said the win definitely is super impressive for sure. Or it's an impressive win. You scored a lot of points on the road, but the fact that you scored damn near 40 points. And just like you said, Scoop and Poop, they didn't even they had less than 50 combined yards total. So that's definitely the overarching thing in this game for me was the amount of points you're able to score, the success you guys had, especially offensively, and you like the strength of this team wasn't a factor. And like I said, man, your dog Kyron Williams comes back with authority, 200 combined yards, 2 receiving touchdowns in this game. And then that's just Kyron Williams. Royce Freeman had 13 for 77 in a touchdown in this game. You know what I'm saying? So the ground game was just overall dominant. They've got over 200 rushing yards on less than 30 carries just between Kyron Williams and Royce Freeman. I don't know if anybody else got a dummy carry or two to see what the total rushing yardage for the day was, but that's wildly impressive. I wanted to shout out y'all rookie, man, Kobe Turner, defensive lineman. He had 2 sacks in this game as a rookie. And so just wanted to shout him out. And then, yeah, man, on the other side, Kyler Murray, the most surprising stat line for me for Kyler Murray, he goes 250 yards. He throws a touchdown. He has a rushing touchdown in this game. He only had 1 rush attempt. So his legs in this game were just completely neutralized. And then just like you said as well, James Conner, his day's over before it started. He only gets 6 carries and it finishes with 27 yards. But like I said, the game gets away from the Cardinals. And like I said, they get caught playing catch up and just aren't able to do so. But no, good win for you guys for sure. It's a good win.
Absolutely. Well, let's keep on pushing, Willie Jack. We had the Kansas City Chiefs go to Las Vegas to take on the Raiders. Chiefs win this one on the road as expected, 31-17. Willie Jack, what's your take?
Honestly, man, the Raiders came out with something on their mind. You know what I mean? Like they came out kind of hot. And so they come out, they jump over, they jump right out to an impressive lead, man. They go up 14-0 on the Chiefs. They get the first touchdown drive, and then that second touchdown, they get Josh Jacobs go 60 yards to the crib, and it's 14-0 midway through the second quarter. before the Chiefs, you know what I'm saying, get themselves going before the sleeping giant wakes up is all it was. Because they said, man, they get 14 in the first 20 minutes of this game and they finished with 17 points. And so the Chiefs got back on track. But clean day at the office for Patty. Those were just under 300 yards. He throws 2 touchdowns in this game. Pacheco in the run game has 2 touchdowns. And then I guess for the woe-filled receiver room, it looks like they're finally, and it probably took a while. I feel like one of us called out Rashee Rice in this offense like over a month ago. Like, why? Like, he needs to be getting featured more because everybody else in that room, the established veterans, they aren't cutting it. And so he has a big day, 8 for 107 in the touchdown. And like I said, definitively now the go-to guy on the outside as far as the receivers go. We know what Kelsey's still going to do in the middle of that offense. But yeah, no, man, they go on the road, they get this done. Raiders team that had been playing well. And you know what? Now that Marcus Peters getting released, and I didn't think about it earlier when we talked about it, this, of course, is his old game. And so I wonder if, I imagine emotions and everything were definitely probably high, especially for Peters. And I wonder if, and especially with them losing and the way the game unfolded after you go up 14-0, I wonder if he had some style of sideline or locker room explosion that just got out of hand. And then Antonio Pierce was like, all right, yeah, we got to get him out of here. You know what I mean? I wonder if something like that happened. But yeah, no, all told, man, Kansas City did what they had to do. And then the Raiders, like I said, man, credit to them. They're still playing tough, but this is the first one that kind of looks like it got away from them. Like I said, I think they were more competitive against the Dolphins, and then the game before that as well.
Yeah, and the Raiders definitely came out with a good balance. It was just the Chiefs was just too much for them. The Raiders came out, they ran the ball pretty well, and it was like it was gonna be a game. It looked like it was gonna be like one of those tricky divisional matchups where it's like, all right, man, we don't look. This is a different Raiders team that's showing up. They did a good job of protecting Aiden O'Connell. Aiden O'Connell didn't have a lot of turnovers. You know what I mean? This wasn't a high sack game. Like, they did a lot of the things that they wanted to do schematically to put them in the best position, but the Chiefs just they started to turn it on, and they actually just smothered the Raiders when it came to the third and fourth quarter. They started to really figure out what they were trying to do, and it just wasn't much available for them on offense at that time to really make a difference and really make some moves to make a difference and try to win this game. Meanwhile, the Patrick Mahomes was just continuing to roll, hitting Kelsey, having some fun with some flea flickers, and hitting Rashee Rice, showing his explosiveness. The Chiefs just were hitting on all cylinders at one point in this game and just showing like that we are the more superior team. And it doesn't matter. It doesn't matter what happens week 1 through 5, 5 through 10. You know what I'm saying? We're getting up on that time, in the season where this is where it matters who gets hot.
The cream is about to start rising to the top for sure. Exactly.
So they about to start rising to the top. So this was one game. All right. We saw they didn't look so good last game, but this is one game. If the Chiefs can start putting some back-to-back games in a row of good offensive performances and consistency, then I think the AFC gonna have to watch out, man. Teams are gonna be in trouble. The teams like the Ravens, the guys are at the top, the Ravens, and anybody else that's at
the next team is the Dolphins, I think, or next
Dolphins
team
up there, Jaguars are over there. You know what I'm saying? Even your Steelers, man, don't try to hide. You guys.
Hey, man, I ain't y'all that, man. Let us chill, man.
Yeah, my fault, man. My fault. But ultimately, what I'm saying is it's getting closer to that time. So I want to see how they continue to play and if they continue to be consistent in terms of their play.
No doubt.
Yeah, and Jeff done slid up in the thing, man.
Player.
Hey, that boy always find his way to slide on there right before we touch on the Eagles, man. But I'm glad he in here, man, because I said some things, man, that was on point in this particular game, and so I'm gonna get to that one. But he comes and he said, Aiden O'Connell looks like they picked someone out the stands to play QB, man. Hey, and I heard you, but the guy did not. You know what I'm saying? He didn't make a lot of mistakes in this particular game. I feel like he did as best as he could. He is a backup, you know what I mean? He is a backup, but hey, he didn't do super duper terrible.
And in fairness to Aiden O'Connell as well, I believe he was undrafted because I think he came from Purdue, if I remember right. I watched a little bit of Aiden O'Connell in the preseason. I want to say he came from Purdue or something. It was one of those kind of more so off-brand style of schools. But I want to say he was undrafted, and so in that game, he goes 23 for 33 for 248 yards, 1 touchdown, no pick in that game. And so, but I mean, he's finding a way to. He's not embarrassing himself. I'll at least say that, man. So I'll give him a little credit, man. He's not embarrassing himself out there.
All right, I got you. And then Zach, real quick, man, he just touched on. He said he think the Chiefs really go the way of leaning a lot or becoming too reliant on Patrick Mahomes, and I think they got just enough to where it's not 100% on Patrick Mahomes. Like I think they have enough to where it's like, all right, if we need to give Pacheco a couple extra carries in this game, Pacheco got enough to get it done. If we need to lean on Kelsey a little bit more, he can get it done. And I think that what they're really trying to do is just trying to figure things out. With what's your boy name? With Rashee Rice. If he can really show up and be a good, reliable outside weapon, I think they'll be fine there.
Yeah, no, for sure. And this thing is what I'll say on that one real quick, because me and Chopper both kind of talked about how we feel about the Packers and the complaints about the talent around there until the very end, where everybody kind of got old and they let Devontae go get $30 million for the Raiders. But until then, man, Aaron Rodgers hadn't had any type of reason to complain about the weapons he had, man. That had been one of the more finely stocked and finely tuned receiver rooms in the league over the past 20 years. They got a 20-year lineage. Almost kind of like my Steelers, where you can point to a guy who folds into the next guy who folds. You know what I'm saying? So they kept quality weapons there for the bulk of that. And I think on the other side, though, man, the Chiefs doing a great job. They're not falling into the trap that the Colts did with Peyton Manning, is what I'm happy about. And where you just spend and throw all this money at the offense, and then the defense just can't stop a nosebleed. Maurice Jones-Drew ran for 1,000 yards a season playing the Colts twice back in those days. And so they've built up that defense now. And so now I think the way the team is constructed, I think is going to prove to be maybe beneficial in the long run, because they still have the time to go out and still get a weapon, assumingly in this offseason.
Gotcha. Let's keep on pushing, Willie Jack. Now, let's go to your game of the week, man.
Yeah,
your game of the week, we had the Buffalo Bills go to Philadelphia to take on the Eagles, man, and the Eagles find a way. The Eagles found a way to get that W. We're winning this one 37-34. Willie Jack, go ahead and talk to me. Dog. You picked this game, man.
And that's the thing, man. Like, it's one of those where I took the Eagles to win, but like I was telling Chop as well, man, I wouldn't have been mad at all to see Big Josh and those Bills get this done. And these are the type. This game right here is one of those games, man, that this is one of those games which makes me entertain y'all the way I do when we get to argue about Big Josh in this chat, because I see a guy who's literally got 52 guys sitting on his shoulder, and he's got to be perfect to win a lot of these style of games. And mind you, we're talking about an Eagles team that's 10-1. They were the NFC's representative in the Super Bowl. So this is the competition does get better. And you're on the road in their crib. And then the way this game unfolds, you jump out to a 10-point lead at halftime. Now, here's also a credit to the Eagles as well. And this is where they settle in, they settle down, and they show their championship level pedigree. They haven't won one, but they've been there. You know what I'm saying? You've been to the dance. You know what I'm saying? Like it's always different when you've been to the dance. And so this is where they settle in, and they keep themselves in this. They tighten up, and then in that fourth quarter, they really make a push and tie this thing up and actually get into overtime. I didn't skip all the way around. But let me talk about Josh Allen again in this game. 29 for 51. 339 passing yards, 2 touchdowns. He does throw the interception, and this interception, this one was ugly, because I think what ends up happening, the corner folds back in, and it almost looked like he wanted to short arm it, but he was already letting it go. I mean, and it was there, but it is what it is. And then on the other side of that, 9 for 81 rushing and 2 more touchdowns. So we got 4 touchdowns on the day, over 400 yards of offense.
Before you keep going, because I know you be writing stuff down.
Yeah.
Can you look what did I say? Can you just what did I nugget in that game? Can you please just let me know?
I got you. Let's see here. Oh, I got you. Okay, I got Josh 300 yards, passing 60, rushing 3 touchdowns. Oh yeah.
I was just asking. I didn't know if it was. I didn't know if it was okay. All right, you can continue. I'm sorry.
Hey, you did. And also, I'm looking now like he did. Hey, yeah, hey, 340 and 80, 4 total touchdowns. Hey, so and my dog took Josh and the Bills to win this game. And like I said, so hey, Josh showed up and gave you some extra credit on there as well, man. Threw in another touchdown and probably another 40 yards for you. But so I see this happening. Now Gabe Davis in this game, he's the receiving leader. He has 6 for 105 and a touchdown. And then there's I guess one of the poking points in this game is, of course, they're in the overtime. They start to stall. The drive starts to stall. So they get to like a 3rd and 7. There's a heavy blitz from the Eagles. And so Gabe Davis takes off up the seam. Josh lets it go. And then Gabe Davis folds it to the flag, or flows it to the corner like a flag route. But Josh throws it just on the trajectory of the path he's on. And so we miss a touchdown opportunity right there. That was a game winner. And so unless he MVS's it, you know what I'm saying, and has a popcorn on the sideline before that play, that's potentially the game winner right there. And the Eagles don't even get the ball back to try to go down and score. But instead, Buffalo takes that 3. Now it's 34-31. And then, of course, the Eagles, like I said, man, they rise up to the occasion. And they do what they got to do. They go down the field, and then of course at the end there, Jalen walks into the end zone on just a 10-yard quarterback draw. The 8 of the Buffalo Bills defenders are like on the right side of Jason Kelce, and then like I said, he walks into the end zone up the left A gap. You know what I'm saying? So just a terrible defensive call there. But one of the other things I want to point out in this game, man. And because I saw this stat, and it was I think Josh Allen is 0-6 in overtime games in the regular season and in the postseason. Oh, is it 0-5? Okay,
Zach had already put it out there too.
Oh, okay, bet. Okay, yeah, so he's going to say stat, so he's 0-5. But then it made me, and I didn't go look up all 5, but I thought about it in my mind. The most obvious ones, like one like this. Because here's the thing as well that we forget. He gave that defense 2 opportunities to close this game out. Before overtime, they're up 28-24. They go down, they score, they go up 28-24 before he gives the ball back to before they give the ball back to Philly. Philly, they don't get a stop. Philly scores, and now it's 31-28, and then they drive, and then they have to get the field goal themselves as well to tie it up. I don't know, something like that. But he gave the defense a chance to close out this game before we get to overtime. It didn't happen. And then even in this one, of course, we want that touchdown. We want the touchdown to Gabe Davis. Their communication has been, they haven't been on the same page all year. And I've talked about it for multiple weeks, but they're not in sync the way they should. If that's Stephon Diggs, I think that's a touchdown, because they have that style of rapport where they kind of see things the same way. And just for whatever reason, this season, Gabe Davis and Josh haven't seen things the same way. And so we missed that. But let's not forget, he still gave the defense the ball. They gave the Eagles the ball back to go 75 yards with the 3-point lead. So you know what I'm saying? And Sean McDermott still being a defensive guy. And so like one of these games, man, I can't put it on Josh. And this one, then of course we already know about the 13-second game in Kansas City on the road in the divisional playoff game. But what else did you want to do? You know what I'm saying? Like when Gabe Davis made his name and went crazy for 4 touchdowns in this game, we give Patrick the ball back with 13 seconds. And 2 plays later, the game is over. You know what I'm saying? And so this has kind of more or less been the story of Josh Allen's career, like the context behind that stat. Because I saw a lot of people using that stat coming from a dog, Josh. I was like, hold on, man, don't just pull the stat. Let's look at the context. You know what I'm saying? And so, but yeah, man, that's all that. But on the other side of it, I said all that to say, I still want to do definitely kudos and congratulations to the Eagles, because you did show that championship composure. Earlier when y'all played the Cowboys, I called y'all out for kind of crumbling in that game toward the end with whack penalties and just terrible play down the line, a big penalty from Bradbury, a late hit by Kevin Byard. I mean, so you just kind of crumble. Even in this Chiefs game, if the Chiefs don't bail you out, dropping so many passes, you find a way to lose that one. This game, you didn't. You snapped back into it. You got back in that mode. Like, hold on, we still the guys to beat in this division, in this conference, and in this league. And then they showed that and they proved that. You get 23 points in the fourth quarter and overtime period of this game. You know what I mean? So they found a way to rise to the occasion and close it out.
Gotcha. And I'm not gonna stay super long into my analysis of this game because the game itself didn't necessarily surprise me in terms of what each team were able to do successfully. I said that Josh Allen was gonna be able to pass on his defense. The Philadelphia Eagles passing defense has been terrible all season long. I also said that with the run defense of this Bills team, that the Philadelphia Eagles was gonna be able to run on them. And what they do, they go run for 185 yards on the ground. Now, this was a rainy game, so it was a sloppy weather type game as well. So things were sloppy, but it doesn't matter when these games come. It doesn't matter what the weather is. Doesn't matter who's here, who's not here. It's you have to come out and you have to show up in this particular game. So both teams actually showed up, and it played out exactly like I thought it was. And if I remember correctly, my final score of this game was 34-31 Bills. And what were they up going in overtime? 34-31. I was praying this game kind of came out in that way. But like you said, Willie Jack, I got to give kudos to Jalen Hurts and his team. And it's just something about them this year, man, that makes me feel like, hey, they're still hungry. They haven't forgotten about their Super Bowl loss last year, and that they're on their way to being another Super Bowl team. And it's going to be tough for anybody that steps into their way because they have everything in place that they need to make it happen. Now, we've seen games where they didn't look as smooth or as consistent or, that type of team that we've seen all year. But at the same time, it doesn't matter. They finding ways to win, and they have the best record in the NFL. So you call it what you want, call it how ugly you want to call it. They're 10-1 right now, and it doesn't look like anybody will step in their way and prevent them from getting where they need to be. And that's the type of attitude you see. Even when you watch their faces on the sideline, you look at Jason Kelce and Jalen Hurts on the sideline after they get the drive and put their kicker in place to make a 59-yard field goal to put this into overtime.
Yeah,
that's a deep field goal, man. That's a deep field goal.
Career low.
Yeah, and when they make it, and when they made their field goal and to take them to overtime, it puts them in position, and you look at them on the sideline, they're like, damn, it's not even a joy behind it, and of course they're happy, but it's more so of a, damn, man, we're not playing our best game. This is not the best game that we could be playing right now. Man, we need to go out here and we need to fix this. We need to get this situation taken care of. And sure enough, they do that. Their defense holds up barely by the skin of their little by the skin of their chinny chin. You know what I'm saying? They hold up in overtime. They give the Eagles the ball, and the Eagles say, nah, we're not going back down here to tie this game up. We finna go score a touchdown, and that's what they end up doing, man. So, yes, like you said, Willie Jack, they show the championship pedigree, and this is just what it is.
Hey, do me a favor, man. Go ahead and pull our dog ZB's comment for me, man. It's he said Herbert catches way too much flack for that. When I was talking about the
Here we go, baby.
We're gonna make it quick though. We've talked about this a couple times.
No, because I'm probably gonna be with you too on this one, Willie Jack. And I know you are, like, I'm not as big of a Herbert fan as you are, but at the same time, I understand the difference.
Allen fan is what you said meant to say is me.
I'm not as much of an Allen fan as you are, but I do understand the differences in terms of those. Go ahead.
No, exactly. And so, and then he had a follow-up comment. He said he's not saying that Herbert's at the level. I responded to. He's not saying Herbert's at the level of like a Joe, a Patty, or a Josh to be talking to me. But he said if you throw for 300 yards plus, you score 30 points, then sometimes the defense has to make a stop. And like that's the point of what I say when we talk about this is that's not necessarily untrue. But the point is, that doesn't stop you. That shouldn't be enough to stop you that, okay, well, now I can take my foot off the gas because now I've got the ball with 2 minutes and 30 seconds. Yeah, it's 30, but guess what? Defense gave up 31. Well, now I can't turn it in with the 2 minutes and 43 seconds and 2 timeouts, and I've got the ball. Go win right now. You know what I'm saying? Like, talk about the defense in the locker room, but let's talk about it in the meeting room when we watch back the film. But don't fold in the moment right now. When the game's in the balance right now, none of that stuff matters because right now it's 0-0. And now we've got to have it. Like now is when we've got to have it. So you got to stand up. You got to be able to make those plays in those moments. And I got it backwards when I was trying to recount it earlier because, yeah, you're right. They get the 59-yarder, that field goal, or whatever the case. But yeah,
take it to overtime to tie it at 31.
Yeah, there you go. To tie it. Yeah, I said it back. Yeah. But the point of it is like you still got to make the play. Like you can't turn it in. We can't have you fail in the fourth, but then celebrate the first 3 quarters because, well, 3 quarters wasn't enough. 300 yards and 30 points in the first 3 quarters wasn't enough. It was 0-1. It's 0. If it's 30 to 31 and we got the ball back with a chance to drive and win the game, and we're talking a field goal at this point. You know what I mean? So for all intents and purposes, this game is 0-1 right now. None of that, everything else before that point is dead now because now it's 0-1 and you got the ball and you're a guy. You got $250,000 in your bank account. You know what I'm saying? Like you got TV ads and commercials. You sharing with Patrick Mahomes. Like you're in that position. This is why you're a $250 million quarterback. Joe Burrow isn't a $250 million quarterback because of, like I said, the things he does in the first 3 quarters, or even Patrick Mahomes in that game. I was talking to Jeff in the chat about the Eagles game, right? It wasn't a great game, and they lost that game. But Patrick Mahomes threw a touchdown pass to MVS that he just drops because he can't handle the moment. And he also threw a 4th and 22, and he bounces a ball off a guy's chest plate. He bounces the ball on 4th and 22 for a first down. He bounces the ball off the middle. He split the numbers on his receiver, and it bounced off for an incompletion on the 4th 22 play because everything that happened before then doesn't matter. You've got to be the guy that shows up and makes the play when it counts. Now, you don't always win, but you can't be the guy who just folded. You can't. We talked about C.J. Stroud earlier. You can't take crazy stacks. You can't. I mean, you just can't. You've got to show up. You just can't shrink in those moments and then be bailed out. Well, with the other 58 minutes in this game, man, he went for 300 and we scored 30 points. Well, okay, yeah, that's all good until we needed you to show up right now with the lights on, and that's where we get with that conversation. But you like, it's never anything about his talent at all. But like I said, man, it's Kobe in the fourth. You know what I'm saying? Like LeBron or whoever you want to say. Like there are specific moments where you have to rise above, man. Like I said, you've got to come through in those moments. He just hasn't shown to come through in those moments yet. Not that it can't happen, but he hasn't shown it yet. Gotcha. All right, Willie Jack.
Keeping it pushing. Let's go to the Chargers. You know what I mean? We're just talking about Justin Herbert.
Look at that boy cold today.
Let's go to the Chargers, man. Let's talk about Los Angeles, man. Where the Ravens, they go to Los Angeles to take on the Chargers, and the Chargers lose this game. Well, they didn't lose it. Ravens won this game 20-10, man. And actually a lower scoring affair than I was expecting, man. But the Ravens end up coming away with this W on the road. Willie Jack, I know you wanted to see your Ravens lose this one, but hey, man, they didn't do it, man. They came away with the W. So talk to me, man. What happened in this one?
Oh shoot, I didn't realize you're gonna come right back to me. Okay,
my bad. We was
no, it threw me off my natural, but no, it's all good. But boom. Let me find my note. Okay, here we go. Boom. Okay, yeah. So this one is another one as well for me where it's a win, and it's a good win because if you're the Ravens, I'm talking, you go on the road. The Chargers, they're still a more talented team than their record, and so you still go there. You hold them to 10 points, which is impressive as well. So that defense is still showing up. But this is the thing about me for Baltimore, who is the number 1 AFC seed right now. But this is why I don't have much confidence in them. Like just like my dog Chop said, hold on to that number 1 seed, or if they are the number 1 seed. Like I want to play there against them at the number 1 seed that they're placed in the playoffs more so that I want to go to Kansas City or somewhere else because the way it's getting done. Lamar is 18 for 32, 177 yards, 1 touchdown in this game, 39 yards rushing and one fumble lost in the game, right? And then the rushing game, I think the largest carrier was the Mitchell kid, the young kid, had 64 yards only on 5 carries, but there's no passing offense here. And then Lamar, I think he started out, and I was singing his praises as well because he started out looking like he had taken a step, or like that offense had progressed and made and made things that were going to show that, okay, this pass game is going to expand, but then the rest of that receiver room or the rest of those guys couldn't like catch up. Well, now I don't know if Lamar's just kind of settled back into the median or whatnot because it's still just ugly offensive football. And so I just don't have much confidence in them going forward. But you are still winning, and you are still doing it in an impressive manner. Like I said, holding that Chargers team at home to only 10 points. Then Herbert on the other side, he goes for 20 yards, 1 touchdown and a pick in this one. Oh, now here's the what I want to say in this game. To start this game, Justin Herbert has a decent scramble in the a decent scramble up the right, like towards the right front pylon. They're in the red zone area. They end up taking that 3. It's a late hit. He gets hit late by Geno Stone, the safety from the Ravens, and it's right in front of a referee, and it's late. And like I'm a defender. So naturally, like, okay, if you can give a guy a shot, give him a shot. But the way the game's called, he's at home. He's a star. I mean, like, there's just I can't understand why he didn't get that call, and not even that it was a give me call. It was late, so it should be first and goal from the 1 yard line, and then now they punch in for 7. They go up 7-0 at this point instead of settling for that 3. And all told it they lose by 10 points. But I'm just talking against that defense and that caliber of quality of team, putting them behind the 8-ball 7-0 at home, also for your own momentum and everything. I mean, it just could have changed the trajectory of that game. And I just hated that they didn't get that call. And I feel like there was another questionable call that went against the Chargers in this one as well, man, that made me kind of scratch my head a little bit, but now I'm blinking. But yeah, no, if you're Baltimore, the defense definitely carried the day. I'm getting worried about Lamar now. Like I say, this is what, 3 or 4 weeks in a
just
row.
Now? You just now?
Yeah, well, and see what that's
your boy Chop been telling you this all season.
I mean, but see, you never was a believer. But see, what the thing is, like, at first I thought it was. At first, to me, it really did look like everybody around him. It looks like he was ready. It looks like he was a varsity player playing in the middle school pickup game. That's how it was looking as far as his level and then where the rest of the offense was at the time. And then I guess the easy comparison for me is that Pittsburgh game. He should have threw 500 yards in that game. You know what I'm saying? Like, they dropped 8 passes in that game. They left about 150 passing yards and 3 touchdowns on the field. You know what I'm saying? In that game, but progressively, maybe since then, I don't know, man. Something's changed or something looks a little off now. And now I can say, okay, it's not the rest of the guys now. I think the rest of where he was at one point, I think now he's been dragged back down to the median with everybody else. And now he looks just as discombobulated. Or, you know, shout out to our dog Jeff in the chat, man. He say he looks indecisive. I think he's regressed back to what we had seen before, and that's what's worrying me, man. You know what I'm saying? Like, at first, like with that Lions game, they score almost 40 points and blow them out. Lamar has less than 200 yards in this game as well. And so, like, yeah, that could be a good thing when we know you have it in you to show up when we need you to. But this was a close game. You know what I mean? Like, this one wasn't necessarily in the bag. You know what I mean? And so we need you to show up here and I mean, he's just another nameless, faceless dude just out there in a Black Ravens jersey. Like, he didn't set himself apart in this game in these type of moments the way I want to see him to have confidence going as we go into the playoffs. But
gotcha. And Willie Jack, that was one of the things I was going to say is this game confirms what I've been feeling about the Ravens anyway. It's been confirming that because I felt the entire season that this team has been carried by the defense. The offense is what the offense is, but their offense is good in the one particular area, and that's in the run game, whether it's running the ball, handing the ball off, or using Lamar Jackson's legs. And then off of that, he's able to find and hit it, dink and dunk, and hit his guys off of that. You know, but now, yeah, Mark Andrews is gone. You know, your guy is gone, so that's one less piece that you have, and that's your main guy. That's your number one target each and every week. So that's one guy that's gone. But then also on top of that, it's like that's just what I've seen from this team this entire time. The entire time I watched the Ravens team, and it just always seemed like something wasn't clicking when it came to that passing game. They've been dominant. They've been able to do, take care of business when it came to most of the teams. But at the same time, there's still some things out there that they need to get fixed for them to be competitive and really want to make a legit run in the playoffs. Like, the Ravens aren't a team where success is one and done in the playoffs. That's not success because of how dominant you guys been in the regular season. And we've seen them be this dominant in the regular season before. But none of that means nothing to me. None of that means nothing because you do this and then boom. You're out the playoffs. You don't even get far enough to sniff the AFC Championship game. So this means nothing to me. You guys have shown already how good you can be in the regular season, but how good can you really be in the playoffs? How good can you really be beyond that point? So anybody that continues to read off these stats all the time about how many times they won a division, how many times they've been in the playoffs, the Lamar Jackson MVPs. Oh, that's all fine and dandy. When this season is over, you're going to be able to read a lot of accolades. I'm going to be able to read a lot of accolades off of James Harden and Russell Westbrook. You know what I'm saying? gonna be able to read off a lot of those things for those guys too. But at the end of the day, are they gonna be able to come back and say, you know what I'm saying, we really competed for a championship, we really pushed the envelope, and we really made noise in the playoffs? No, a lot of those guys ain't gonna be able to say that. You know, not saying that he's not gonna be able to, but as of right now, I'm getting tired of seeing you be good in the regular season. That means nothing. The goal is to win a championship, a Super Bowl. That's the ultimate goal. That's the goal for each and every person, each and every team, each and every organization. Point blank, period. Anything short of that, you know what I'm saying, it's not a failure, but you're working towards that. For the Ravens, they've been working towards that for a while, and they've been good enough to get there for a while. So I need to see you get over that hump. That's all I'm saying.
Hey, I'm gonna tell you right now, that was golden. I like what you said there, man. Yeah, we can read off a lot of accolades, man. James Harden won a lot of awards. Except the one that counts. That was golden. And you know what? Hey, shout out to my dog ZB, man. We still in chat talking about Herbert a little bit here on some of the stats, because we can pull the numbers, but that's why we always want to add context to the numbers. But that's a good way to look at it, because James Harden was an MVP. He led league in scoring for 3 years back to back, 35 points a game for one of those years. So James Harden in this example can be likened to Justin Herbert. And ZB, I don't know if you're a basketball fan or not, but James Harden was up 4-2 on the Warriors at home in an MVP season in which he averaged 35 points. But when we got to win this one, like I said, all that's good. But when we've got to have it, it doesn't matter, man, we should have won. When we've got to have it right now, everything that happened before, man, I had 40 points in the first 3 quarters. But guess what? It's only 30 seconds left, and now we're down 2. So are those 40 points more than these next 3? We gonna put the ball in your hands to go get us 3 right now. We need these 3 right now, though. Those 40 was cool. We need 3 right now. That's where it comes in.
He said hard pass.
I thought I was gonna make it make sense. But that's just like my dog Chop said, because that's where we seen Harden come up short with those Rockets teams. You know what I'm saying? In those championship moments.
I don't know how many times I've heard, man, Dan Marino will be the best quarterback to ever play if he won the championship. I've heard that from a few guys that watched.
That's true. That boy threw 5,000 yards in 1984. There wasn't another 5,000-yard passer until 2007. Drew Brees and the Saints. That's the next time somebody touched 5,000. He did in 84. You know what I'm saying? So man, this way ahead of his time for sure. But like you said, if he gets one, what's the conversation like with him and Elway? Because people in a lot of people's top 10s, Elway's 4 spots ahead of Marino in a lot of people's top 10s. How? What would he do better besides running the Terrell Davis and John Lynch at the end of his career and get them 2 rings? You know what I'm saying? I mean, realistically, I know he win a lot of times, and maybe he carried back. Well, I don't want to get a sidetrack, but yeah, I like what you did there.
Yeah, I got you. All right, Willie Jack, let's move on to the Monday night game, man. We had the Chicago Bears, man, going to Minnesota to take on the Vikings, man. And I don't know, I went on a limb with this game, Willie Jack. Hey, but your boy happened to be right. You know what I'm saying? I happened to be right. Now, I didn't get the stats right. You know what I'm saying? I called out some stats, but I didn't get those right. But here's my thing, all right? And we talked a little bit about the Panthers earlier and how they gave away their first-round pick. Chicago's got their first-round pick for them. So if Carolina Panthers end up with the worst record in the NFL, you know who gets the first overall pick? It's the Chicago Bears.
Yes, they do.
Do you want to know what the Chicago Bears should do with their first overall pick? You know what I'm saying?
Man,
a lot of people going to
hard guess.
A lot of people gonna throw out some different things. Hey man, y'all better go get a quarterback.
Yeah,
y'all better go get a quarterback. Sell on Justin Fields. I think he's at the point where you can still get something for him. But I've seen some things in this game that let me know, hey man, Justin Fields is not the guy. He's not the guy. You know, I was pretty high on him coming into the league. I was pretty high on him going into his second year in the NFL because of the strides I feel like he could make. But in order to be successful in this league, you have to be a competent quarterback. You have to be able to read the field. And it was very, very early in his game. I think he was rolling to his right. I saw a guy instantly become open. He didn't make the throw. You know what I'm saying? Then a guy came open shortly after that, didn't make the throw. Like, these are throws that have to be made. These are first down throws, easy throws that he could have made or that a competent NFL quarterback should be able to make with a little bit of touch. And he wasn't able to make those. Go ahead.
On my phone, I was gonna say, as soon as you say that, I saw one, and I think it's the one you're talking about. It's Darnell Mooney's butt naked for like a 22-yard gain on like a deep out, and he puts it 4 yards above his head, and he's lucky. I don't know who the safety was, and this is where we at in football now. Because, boy, I'm going to tell you right now, boy, because Mooney goes up like this, and his fingertips are still 3 yards shy of the ball. The ball's way off. Boy, he should have been cut in half on national TV. You hear me? But you know what? Brian Dawkins would have left a pool of slobber on the field while he's running over to kill that man on television. Cam Chancellor would have put his helmet through that man's rib cage. You know what I'm saying? So, but that's as soon as you said that, I thought it was like, yep, that's the one. Because I said the same thing. As soon as I seen it, I was like, yeah, man, he just might not be it. I feel you.
But it was a few of them though, Willie Jack. It was a few of those like that, man. And I mean, those type of plays you have to be able to make. Those are basic NFL QB plays that you have to be able to make in order to be successful, man. And I just don't see it. I don't see it from him. I don't see him being successful. I don't see him being a long-term quarterback that can really push you further. And maybe he just needs another offensive coordinator or a coach that can really, work with him and work with his skill set. But at the end of the day, you still have to be able to make that. You can't run all the way to the Super Bowl. You won't be able to do that as a quarterback. You have to be able to make some of those throws, when some of those teams play you that way, because these defenses, they're really good, man. They're fast, and they're going to play you and take away your strengths. And if they do that, you have to be able to do something else. And if you can't do that, then, hey, man, you're in trouble. So with that being the case, I wanted to point that out first and talk about how I didn't, I'm starting to be out. I'm gonna go ahead and say I'm out on Justin Fields in terms of him being a long lasting QB that can really get the job done. I do feel like he is talented for sure. He's athletic, but in terms of him being like something that can lead his team to a potential deep playoff and possible Super Bowl in the future, I don't necessarily see that. Now, here's the other thing though. I'm gonna talk about Minnesota. I might be the first person to say this, Willie Jack, but I'm gonna go ahead and say it. I think it's time to turn over a new leaf, dog.
Okay, talk to me.
I think it's about time for us to put the crown on your boy TJ Hockenson over there in Minnesota, man. Because the boy is the best tight end in the NFL today. That's the crown I'm talking about. I'm talking about the best tight end in the NFL today, man.
Really?
When I see him week after week and what he's able to do, I think this guy's really good. Now, don't get me wrong. We know who Travis Kelce is. We know who George Kittle is, and so on and so forth. But when you talk about consistency, when you talk about the production, when you talk about his versatility in terms of being able to not only, do what he does or do what we see him do in the passing game, but also be one of the better blocking tight ends in this league, man. This guy has something special, and he's found his niche, and also found, I think, a great partner in Kevin O'Connell. Kevin O'Connell knows how to utilize him, knows how to put him in positions to be successful, and I think it's about that time, man. Travis Kelce, he's having a pretty good season, but pretty soon he'll be on his way out of the door. We know how the 49ers are using George Kittle, and we want to see more from him, and we can't take nothing away from his talent for sure. But TJ Hockenson is being utilized the way we would like to see him utilized. And with Jefferson out and him being the main guy, he's done nothing but step up and had a big touchdown catch in this game where he went up and got it, took the hit, went in for the touchdown, man. So I'm liking what TJ Hockenson is doing, and I think it's about that time, man. I've seen enough consistency from him to see this guy's for real. You know what I'm saying? So I'm ready to go ahead and crown him right now today, as he's the best tight end in the NFL.
I'm not gonna lie, man. Yeah, you're gonna have to you're gonna walk that plane by yourself, man. Or not playing, but I'm gonna let you walk, I'm gonna let you stand on your own on that one. I can't go that far. I definitely think that he is, and also we have to remember he's a year and a half into this Viking system from the Lions, in which he was with the Lions for about 4 years and didn't really make any noise. And so I don't know if I want to already jump him over some of those guys we've got, man, based on a season and a half of solid production. But I even still, like, if this, I would imagine this is
how long we waiting.
Because this what I'm saying is, because, like, I would imagine, because, and I don't know his numbers. I don't know his numbers right now, but I would imagine he's probably on pace to have like a career year. And I would imagine matter of fact, while I'm talking, see if you can find his stats for us. Let's see where he's at.
He's over 700. He's a little bit over 700 yards, and I think 5 touchdowns right now.
Okay, and here's the thing about that. That's actually fantastic production from a tight end. Now the only thing is, well, Travis Kelce's had a couple seasons in which he's had double that yardage and triple those touchdowns. You know what I'm saying? So that's why I was like,
but that's why I said when we gonna do it, because I'm not necessarily talking about previous season. We know what Travis Kelce has done. Well, I'm not talking about his career, but I'm talking about right now, today.
Chop, so you're telling me if we at the park and you know what I'm saying, and me and you picking teams and everybody's on the playground, your first tight end pick is TJ Hockenson. You today, looking at Kelce.
If I'm looking at what, how old is he? 34-year-old Kelce, and I'm looking at 20.
Oh, okay. Maybe I see what you're saying, because if you're just saying like with Travis Kelce's age,
I'm saying today. I'm saying today, bro. I don't care what he did in the past. We know Travis Kelce has been a better tight end than TJ Hockenson. That's not what I'm arguing. I'm saying right now, today, there's a new sheriff in town. When Michael Jordan touched down in the league, man, we knew it was still Magic Johnson and Larry Bird's league. You know what I'm saying? But at some point, maybe 2-3 years in, it was like, oh man, this guy Michael Jordan is something special.
I dig that, but the thing is, see, I don't think TJ Hockenson is Michael Jordan in this example, though. You know what I'm saying? That's what I'm saying. Like I don't know, man, because he still has a jump Kittle in my mind. Like he still got to pass Kittle before he can even try to get in the room with Kelce. Because and what's crazy, it does more so feel, and maybe it's a little recency bias right now while we're talking about it, but it almost feels like Kelce's having an off year. What's Kelce's numbers right now in this?
Kelce is a little bit under him. They both over 700.
But they close though.
Yeah, they close.
But they close. So Kelce's having probably his first down year, relatively speaking, in probably 6 years. And his down year is comparable to TJ Hockenson's career year that he's in the midst of right now. And you know what I'm saying? So, and just the way we got to cover and game plan for Travis Kelce when he's coming to the stadium versus what we have to do for TJ Hockenson. I just think on every level, man, I think Kelce he's still the bigger threat. But no, I'm not gonna handicap us, man. I just checked the time, and I know we getting a little long. But the one thing I want to say about the game, though, I had the same thought as you for Justin Fields, but I'm not ready to just close his book completely like it sounds like you are. His time in Chicago is definitely done, but also at the same time, we have to remember that Chicago offense, they didn't, much like we just said with Sean Payton, Chicago didn't change the board to fit Justin Fields. They tried to change Justin Fields to fit the board. And it's not working. And so I don't want to necessarily put that on the player. I'll put that on the situation. So I don't want to cancel for that, because Justin Fields, remember how Anthony Richardson looked with the Colts? And it wasn't pretty, but remember how it looked? Shit, what's Justin Fields look like in Indy? You know what I'm saying? What's Justin Fields look like in Philly? What's Justin Fields look like in Arizona? You know what I'm saying? Like a team and a scheme and an offensive game plan that is built and centered around doing what he does best. I think he still has that opportunity to find somewhere that allows him to, like say, it's almost, and to a very lesser extent, Michael Vick with the Falcons in the early 2000s versus if Michael Vick came into the Eagles right now in place of Jalen Hurts. It's just a complete, you know what I'm saying? Like those are two completely different trajectories.
And I understand that, but what I'm saying is the things he's not doing are elementary. Like I get a different scheme can put you in a different position, but at the end of the day, the things that I saw from him that he didn't do were not scheme dependent, or not, it wasn't related to scheme. It was related to him being in the middle of a play, seeing two guys come open on the exact same play, and you don't pull the trigger. You don't try to make that throw. And I don't know if it was because he couldn't make the touch for that throw or whatever the case may be. He did not make the throw. Instead, he tried to make plays with his legs, and then when he tried to make plays with his leg, the play didn't work out, and get that. And then you see the lack of awareness of people just around him on those 2 fumbles that almost cost him the game, where he's not even covering the ball up with 2 hands. Like, that's elementary stuff.
Well, the one of them,
bro.
that second one he didn't have it up and tucked, but he was moving through traffic.
Yeah,
it got stripped.
They don't cut it.
Cause I remember seeing that when I was like,
man, these guys 250, 260 pounds, bro. That's gonna hit you. Holding the ball like this ain't gonna cut it. That's elementary stuff, bro.
I mean, and I was just saying in fairness, because if you in the pocket and you go from there, and now you kind of dip and get around before you can. But the point of what I was gonna say is,
I was gonna say, to your point about Anthony Richardson. Anthony Richardson is a rookie. We talking about Justin Fields. This is year 3, bro.
Yeah, but what I'm saying is what we saw for Anthony Richardson, though, and I'm not even saying he played great at all. But what I'm saying is that he wasn't the coach didn't draft Anthony Richardson and then want him to be Justin Herbert. The Bears and that coaching staff, they bring in Justin Fields, and instead of letting him be Jalen Hurts, they wanted him. They've tried to make him Brock Purdy. That's what I'm saying. And so now some of that stuff is still like the miss is high. That passed the Mooney. You just got to hit that. You know what I'm saying? You just got to hit that. But what I'm saying is, like, as far as some of the things that his indecisiveness or his timing, as far as reading through reading the progressions or the style of progressions that he's at, I'm just saying, like, it's still he's still speaking English in a playbook that's still Chinese. Now, he's picked up some Chinese along the way, but it still just isn't what comes natural to him. I'm just saying, in his own just natural environment, where instead of being asked to make 4 progression reads, we only going to ask him to make 2. Anthony Richardson won't make a 4 progression read until he's 3 years into this league, because they understand what they have. Jalen Hurts is a perfect example. We saw Jalen Hurts wasn't making full field reads 2 seasons ago. You know what I'm saying? And now they progressed. You know what I'm saying? He's been able to be brought along in a way to accentuates what he does well. And now we incorporate and broaden, you know what I'm saying, the things that we ask him to do. So that's what I'm saying for Justin Fields. I especially with as creative as these offenses are getting with the RPOs and etc., there's going to be an avenue for a 6'2", 6'3", 230-pound, 4.3 running quarterback that has shown us what he had a 6-game stretch where he ran for 700 yards and 11 touchdowns. And they had games they won where he had 200 rushing yards and only 100 passing yards. You know what I'm saying? So, like, when that type of talent, he just has to be in a place that's gonna find a way to let him flourish. And I think it looks worse than maybe it is, because he's Jalen Hurts being asked to be Brock Purdy. You know what I'm saying? That's what I'm thinking. But I'm with you though. He's out of Chicago. Like, that's a done deal, man. Caleb Williams, he'll be the Chicago Bears' next starting quarterback, I'd imagine, unless they go Drake May, because maybe they want somebody that's a little more not as got a little deviant in them already, like Caleb may have. But
I got you. Awesome. All right, Willie Jack. Well, that wraps up week 12, man. Give me real quick, man. Who was your performer of the week this week, man? Who was the guy that showed up for you, man, and did his thing?
Oh, man, and you know what? There's a lot of good damn answers, and you know what? I'll just in case you want to go there, I'll leave that way. I'll go Jalen Hurts, man. I'll go Jalen Hurts. 5 touchdowns in that I guess comeback overtime victory against the Bills. Is just a massive day, man. Just making the plays you had to, especially like I said, when the game got close. They only scored 37 points. 23 of them came in the fourth quarter in overtime of that game, and thanks in no small part to himself. And so, yeah, 5 touchdown day, man. I'll give it to Jalen Hurts.
Gotcha. And of course, man, you knew where I was going, man. I'm staying at home, man, with the home team, man, the LA Rams, man. Kyron Wills, man, a big day, 143 yards on the ground with just 16 carries, 61 yards in the air on six catches, man, 2 total touchdowns, over 200 yards from scrimmage, man. A big game for him to really go in and route the Arizona Cardinals and really dominate that game, man. So got to give my performer of the week to Kyron Williams.
No doubt. All
right, well, Jack, we got one quick preview, man. We got a preview game for our Thursday night game coming up tomorrow night, man. Let's go ahead and knock that one out real quick. We got the Seattle Seahawks going to Dallas to take on the Cowboys. Who you got in this one?
Man, I'm taking Dallas at home, and just real quick and simple, man. I'm going to go Dallas 27-17. I think their defense is definitely gonna carry the day, and especially for a Seahawks offense, namely this passing game that just really still feels like it just hasn't found footing, and then the inconsistent kind of with the running game with the injuries to Kenneth Walker, and I think he was out last week. I think he's gonna expect
he's right now he's listed as doubtful.
Okay, yeah. And so you still have him likely not to go. This is a Thursday game, so I would imagine if he's still doubtful today, he's probably out tomorrow. And so you don't get any reprieve there. And then even on the other side of the ball, man, with your defense, I just don't like how you guys match up on the interior with that offensive line of the Cowboys. So I think they'll be able to keep Dak relatively clean. And then Dak, we can say what we want to about the competition that he's playing in the games they've been winning and beating, but he's balling. 70% completion percentage. He's right around 3,000 yards. He's got a 4-to-1 touchdown to interception rate. I'm just remembering this off my head. I want to say he's got like 23 touchdowns and 6 picks, something like that. So he's 4-to-1. He's playing phenomenal ball. And against this defense, I think those opportunities to stay clean and still deliver the ball, I think those are still going to be there. And then, like I said, man, that Dallas defense definitely opportunistic. DeRyan Bland might get another one, man. DeRyan Bland might make another house call in this game. You know what I'm saying? And so I think Dallas and that defense carries the day.
Hey, man, hashtag defensive player of the year, man. Y'all better watch out, man. Y'all heard it here first. Man. But yeah, I'm going Dallas in this game too, Willie Jack. And I think it's going to be the run game this game. I know Dak has been has been playing some very, very good football as of late, but I think it's going to be the run game this time around. I think they're going to really lean on the run between Tony Pollard and Dowdle. I think Tony Pollard's starting to look a little bit better, starting to really get his feet up under him now. And I thought about this too. Tony Pollard hasn't been having one of those seasons, and we talked about it a little bit a few weeks ago, but he did have a serious injury, and I'm wondering, like, hey, is this one of those things where he's finally started to get 100% and fully recovered and from that injury, and now starting to look a little bit better, man. He looked a little bit good last week, a little bit better last week, and I expect him to continue. That the Seahawks interior of that defense has struggled, and that Dallas Cowboys offensive line is still solid enough to get the job done on the ground. So I think they come out, they do that, and I think this is going to be a rough game for the Seahawks offense. I think they're going to really get out the Geno. It's going to be tough for him to find some openings, and I see them, Dallas kind of getting a little bit comfortable in this game. So I got Dallas in this one. I got my final score 27-17. They win this one on Thursday night at home.
One more time, what's that score?
27-17.
Oh, same score. Okay, I had to make sure I wasn't tripping. Okay, yeah. Okay.
Oh, I didn't know you said 27-17. My fault. But yeah, 27-17.
No, it's all good. Then our dog, man, before we close it out, man, our dog ZB had a good comment. Said Dak could be the dark horse MVP. Their schedule is very quarterback friendly for the rest of the year. And honestly, man, excuse me, looking at his stats, his production, because we do want to see the, show me you getting buckets, and then we apply the context. So he's checking that box. They are winning. But the thing I said to Zach, my bad, Zach, man, my caps lock got on, and half of that reply, I'm screaming at you, my fault. But I definitely still feel like I want to see Dak have in college football, they say he has this Heisman moment. Everybody remembers Desmond Howard. Even if you don't watch college football, you've seen a highlight of Desmond Howard doing a Heisman pose in the end zone. That's his Heisman moment. Tebow taking a knee and praying in the end zone. His Heisman moment, the moment they say took you over the top. Johnny Manziel, the first time he did the money sign. You know what I'm saying? You're that moment that puts you over the top. Dak hasn't given me that yet. I want to see Dak have that MVP or that Heisman moment where we go out, we beat a legitimate contender, and Dak balls and leads us to this win. And so and then I put in the reply, the perfect opportunity for that is the rematch against the Eagles. They've got another game against the Eagles coming up before the year is over. And then just like you said, that schedule is favorable. And we don't know if the Eagles will keep their pace, but if the Cowboys keep winning, there's a chance that maybe they pick up a few games. Maybe the Eagles finally let one or two go, and now that that rematch, maybe that's a pivotal for the division style of game, and then that's the game I need Dak to give me 300 yards, 3 touchdowns, no turnovers, 50 yards rushing in a you know what I'm saying? That's the game I want to see him have in that style of moment for myself.
Gotcha. All right, Willie Jack. Well, that's pretty much it, man. We went over, man. We definitely went over. But gotta give him a game ball before we hit on about her, Willie Jack. Who gets your game ball this week?
And man, it was a lot of y'all in here, man. Our dog ZB was in here doing his thing as always, man. Our dog Jeff, player, he came in and helped close out the show for sure, man. But also, man, let's give a little love to some of the new blood, man. Our dog Michael Baker was in this thing, man, and he definitely was active early and throughout a good bulk of the show, man. I know we ran a little late, but let's go Michael Baker, man. Michael Baker, shout out to you, sir. Game ball winner.
Awesome, man. So, Mike, congratulations to you, dog.
Man, you didn't put Jeff on the game ball.
No, it say Mike Baker.
It says Jeff Walker on my screen.
Yeah, your screen broke.
I swear it says Jeff Walker right now. Jeff Walker, #game ball. But hey, I ain't mad at that as well, man. Like I said, man, we had a lot of good commentary tonight, man. Jeff, for sure. ZB always, man. He gonna make it tough on anybody for sure. And then Michael Baker, man. Yeah, definitely active in this thing. There we go. Now it says Mike, or at least it says Mike on my screen now.
Okay, got you. All right, man. Well, Willie Jack, that's it. That's all, man.
Let's do it.
On up, big dog.
Hey, no, for sure, man. Just like I said, I know we ran late tonight, man. I apologize. I didn't catch it, and I don't think my partner caught it tonight, man. But we appreciate y'all rocking, though, man. Come on, man. We appreciate all the love. We're going to do a real quick rundown real quick, man. One more time, man. ZB in the building, man. ZB, we appreciate you, big dog. The fam, bam, my mom, my sister, they slid in this thing for sure. Our dog, Big Chef, was in the building earlier today. Day one game, Jarrell, man. You know, we appreciate you as always, big dog. Man, we just talked about our game ball winner, man, Mike Baker in this thing. And our big dog, man, Jeff Walker, player from the Himalayas is in here. Oh, Sierra, man, since she came through for a little bit earlier as well, she stopped in to say hey to the game. And so, you know, we appreciate all of that, man. And then y'all know what's going on, man. Now, we say the same thing every week, so you can feel free to say it with me at home. If I forgot to say your name, damn, my bad, but charge it to my head. Don't charge it to my heart. You know we think about you, big dog. We appreciate all the love, support as always, man. The chat stay popping. We appreciate and love all that, man. We will be right back, man. Sunday morning, 10 o'clock. You know, we ain't going to do nothing but do a little of this. We ain't doing but drop a little bit of this. You see what's going on, man. Drop a little bit of juice. So wake up on Sunday, tap with your dogs, get your pregame together. Other than that, man, y'all have fun. Y'all be safe. Have a good night. I'm sorry we kept y'all late. Until Sunday, peace.
Peace.